Hello and welcome in, race fans, to tonight's event here in the heartland of America, Kansas Speedway, for race number 11 on the season. It's tonight and 3 more points races before the playoffs begin here in the All-American Racing League. So buckle up for an intense night of action. Kansas usually provides a whole lot of good racing, multiple grooves, multiple lines. And joining me alongside tonight for the whole show is co-host Tom Richter. How's it going tonight, Tom?
Good evening, Arie. Happy Saturday to you. And yeah, we're excited to be out here at Kansas Speedway. We're taking a trip a little bit west. Last week, we were at Iowa Speedway, where we saw a lot of great race and multi-groove racing, and we're going to see more of the same out here tonight for 160 laps in the Sunshine the Pity 240 out here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. Tonight's information got stages, lap number 35 and lap number 85, so fuel may be an issue for either one of those stages, particularly stage 2.
Yeah, I'll be looking at the fuel strategy for sure. Something else to keep in mind here around Kansas is that it can often be a one-groove racetrack depending on what these race cars feel like out there tonight. On any given time you show up to Kansas, it can either be a bottom side track or a high side track, and you won't really know till we get into the racing action. But after tonight, in 1 week's time, we head to the Last Great Coliseum in Bristol, one of my favorite tracks. Always to visit, to watch, to race, what have you. And then we take a week off before we have our All-Star event, and that is going to be in the LA Coliseum. So that is going to be quite the race to witness and watch. And then we've got Texas after that at the end of February to look forward to as well. So some fun events on the docket here in the All-American Racing League as we get ready and we start crunching down towards the playoffs here. But as it stands at the moment, towards this hour of practice, about 2 minutes left, Jamie Walker is top of the board. Let me go and cue the lap times right there. Jamie Walker, top of the board in practice, out of Joseph Klein and Nolan Milnes. Keep an eye on those three come qualifying.
Yeah, Jamie has been fast all season long here. Joined a little bit later in the All-American Racing League. Second place currently being held by Joseph Klein. He's going to be somebody that we're going to watch. Arie, I tell you somebody that really has kind of stood out here in the All-American Racing League over the past couple of weeks, and that is, there's really two people. There's the 38 of Christopher Norris, who led 200 of 200 laps last week at Iowa, and then you've got the 78. You've got the 78 of Ryan Rose, who has been up front consistently, hasn't always, as he's going to take a little bit of a drift action down here in turn 2, hasn't always gotten the checkered flag, but that 78 may be the one to dethrone the 38 here tonight.
Could very well be. One of the names that I've seen thrown around this week is the 16 of Josh Kanata as well. Josh is one of those drivers so far this season, Tom, that he hasn't really gone out there and been the dominant car in races, you know, leading all the way to the checkered flag or anything, but he's very cunning and very good with the strategy. Not to mention, he's kind of making a name for himself as a defensive driver here on Saturday nights. That 16 seems to always be somewhere in the top 10 for the most part, and he seems to always be moving forward as the race goes on. The biggest thing of all, though, is you don't want to let him get clean air, because once he gets that clean air, once he gets that track position, he doesn't usually give it up.
Yeah, Josh comes in here into tonight's race number 11 of the season, second in the points, just behind Ryan Rose. Third place in points is held by Mr. Gibson, Cody Gibson, that is, who is currently fourth. And, well, Cody's had a rough couple of weeks here with a couple of DNFs in a row.
That he has. It's kind of a mid-season slump for driver number 7, but he did already get that win. He's got himself locked in to the playoffs in just a couple weeks' time, so he shouldn't have to worry about that. And we both know just how good Cody Gibson can be, so if he starts finding that momentum again here on Saturday nights, this field is going to have to watch out. I tell you what, though, we're just watching the 88 of Jamie Walker. That's one driver I've got my eyes on tonight. Jamie Walker has been fast enough to have 2, 3, 4, 5 wins this season, and it just kind of falls apart here and there, and he's only gotten one up to this point. I think Jamie's due at least another win. I would be surprised if he enters the playoffs with only one.
Tonight might just be the night for the Mountain Dew 88 of Jamie Walker. One of the first cars to roll off out of pit road is going to be the points leader coming into tonight's event, Ryan Rose, in that 78 Chevrolet Camaro, as he's going to pull out of pit road and kind of bring us up to speed for the first time here. Arie, I would like to think that here on the qualifying laps, we would probably see drivers using the high line on the first lap here to try to gain up some momentum in these Xfinity cars.
I would imagine so as well. I'm going to be curious to see if it's lap 1 or lap 2 that these drivers set their hot laps on. But we're going to see that Brett's Electric Chevrolet Camaro out of turn 4 get up to speed and across the line for run number 1. Already going to cut the apron is Ryan Rose in the 78. One of 2 drivers to have ever led every single lap in a race here in the All-American Racing League. Going to take the high side through the first lap.
And you see the banking that he's using, and he is right up against the wall trying to keep the RPMs up. You hear the RPMs continuing to rise as he goes down the backstretch. I would imagine he's going to slot down below the apron on the exit of turn number 4 as he crosses the start-finish line as we wait for times to come up across the board. 78 is going to be one of the first ones to post the time. Where does he go? He's going to go to the top tentatively with a 30.6.
30.6 for the 78 of Ryan Rose. Nolan Mills crosses the line. He's going to be the second one with a time, and that's a 30.55 for driver 1. Everyone getting their times in. That leaderboard is going to change quite a bit, but we'll stick on board with, Nolan Mills in that 1 car down the back straightaway. A driver who is amazingly still looking for his first win here in the All-American Racing League. A driver who will certainly get there at some point this season, I would imagine. Out of turn 4 we go for Mills, and down across the apron to the line. Where's that 1 car going to put it? It's going to be good enough for P2.
Hard to believe that he is looking for his first win. Comes into tonight, the first car without a win. Highest in points, currently 4th as he comes into tonight, kicking on over to Mr. Larry Bell in that purple and pink. I guess it's USA Firearms on the side of there, but Larry Bell out here right now, first time by, was good enough for a top 10. As more times come across the start-finish line, Mr. Bell going to wind up at the line. Lap 2, a little bit of an improvement. Good enough for 9th. Clicking on over to Joseph Klein in this number 5.
Down the back straightaway, that Bass Pro Shops machine looking real good out here in Kansas. The 5 was one of the top 3 quickest drivers in practice, notably using the bottom line. A little different from what we've seen some of these other drivers doing, so a little bit of varied strategy on what line you're going to be running to get those hot laps. Cross the line for driver 5, and that is going to be good enough for P6.
Heading on over to the 2 of Shane Johnson as he is about to complete his second lap in that Toyota Supra out here tonight, as we have just about 2 minutes remaining in our qualifying session here. Drivers given 5 minutes, 2 laps to put down the best lap that they possibly can. Second lap going to be good enough for 16th as we look at Aaron Brockover.
Aaron Brockover in the 44 across the line right here for the second time. We're going to put Mr. Brockover up to P18 on the board. Taking a look at some other drivers out on track. Trevor Harmon in the 029, driver who tends to be making his way up positions as the race goes on. Down the backstretch for his second and final lap. Let's see what that Toyota Supra can do.
One of my favorite paint schemes out here in the All-American Racing League. It's got a wonderful shade of blue on there, contrasted with the white. And always looking good, trying to point that 029 up towards the front of the field, and he's going to be 11th after his 2 laps.
Here we are then with our winner in Daytona to start out the season. Zachary Wake currently sits 16th after 1 lap. We're going to see what the second lap does. It has been the hot lap for most drivers. Going to bring that Camaro down across the apron, and at the line, driver 39 is going to be putting that machine in P12.
2 laps done and away for Zachary Wake, and one of the last drivers out on track right now. Got Brian Troy and also Josh Kanata. Kanata making his way out of turn number 2. First time was good enough for 23rd, so a little bit of room for improvement if he wants to improve his starting lineup out here tonight. See what he's able to do. Josh already got a win earlier this season, and looking to carry that momentum as the playoffs loom.
There we go then. P8 for the 16 of Josh Kanata at the line on the hot lap. Going to be starting inside the top 10. Now, let's not forget, Tom, Josh Kanata's 1 win this season came at Charlotte, arguably the most similar track to where we are at today out of those we have raced up to this point. So another thing benefiting the 16 of Kanata as we get ready to kick over to the start of the race.
Drivers get set for the iRacing.com pace car to make its way out on pit road, and we're going to try to find it here. I don't see it populating just yet. Ari, do you?
Oh, let's see.
As
I
far
might,
oh, you know what?
be able to get
Never mind. One of us is behind the 8 ball tonight. I'm looking for the race results. We got the qualifying results up here. Jamie Walker going to be rolling off from the front row alongside Ryan Rose. Nick Crawford and Nolan Milnes make up row number 2. The top 5 is rounded out by Mr. Gibson. Been fast all season. Does he get his second win out here tonight? Alex Fuller rolls off 6th in the Scooby-Doo machine. Joseph Klein in 7th. Joshua Kanata in 8th. And the top 10 is Christopher Norris and Sam Garcia.
In P11, it's going to be Dakota Moniz, followed by Shannon Wood in P12, Zachary Wake in 13th, Joe Hudson in 14th, Brian Zimmerman in 15th, Trevor Harmon starts 16th, Larry Bell in 17th, Rob Higgs in 18th, Matthew Pavlik in 19th, and Jackson West rounds out the top 20.
21st belongs to Brian Wertman out here as Caleb West qualifies 22nd. Shane Johnson in the 2 qualifies 23rd. Aaron Brockover in the 44 is going to roll off from 24th place. Tanner Marr in 25th. 26th and 27th belongs to William Bruton and Brian Troy. Ron Holofield in 28th, and Sam Dyer and Doug Sigmon in 29 and 30th. And rounding out our field of 31 drivers out here tonight for the Sunshine the Pity 240 is Antonio Bannister. All right, Ari, well, drivers have it's been a while since we've been at a track sort of similar to Kansas. We've really only had Michigan. We've really only had maybe Charlotte, you kind of alluded to, and then Auto Club way back in November, if we can say way back in November. Drivers coming out here tonight, we'll see who is able to take advantage of this track. This track always provides some great side-by-side racing with multiple options for lanes.
It certainly does. I'm looking forward to Kansas here. One thing that we've seen a little bit in practice and qualifying up to this point is that it seems as though there are going to be multiple grooves to work with here tonight, whether it's that high side, that low side. I'm curious to see what happens to the handling of these race cars as the race goes on. It could be a little different whether you're in the next-gen car, whether you're in the trucks, or here in the O'Reilly Series cars as well. And then, of course, how the setup is, because the iRacing devs do like to change the setups every so often on the sim. So what are these drivers going to be facing? We're going to have crossing over conditions as the sun gets ready to set. We've got a little bit of cloud cover as well. Lots of factors to come into play. 2 very different length stages to get to about halfway through this race. Lots of questions, and they're all about to be answered as the pace car gets ready to pull off, and Jamie Walker and Ryan Rose lead us to the green flag.
35 laps between here and the end of stage number 1 in the first batch of stage points out here tonight. Jamie Walker, Ryan Rose on the front row, going to bring us into the restart zone for the first time here tonight. Barney's going to send them on their way, and everybody's going to come up through the gearboxes 4 gears strong at the start-finish line. It's Walker and Rose at the start-finish line.
All right, 2x2x2x2x2 all the way into turn number 1. We could see that sun beating down on turn 2 exit right there. Cold tires are going to be a little tricky. You got to watch out for those. Once we get about 2 laps in under green, we'll be good as we watch some of the onboard action.
This is how the restarts are going to be all night long. 2 wide, 3 wide, maybe even at times 4 wide, as these drivers try to take all the advantages they possibly can while the good is still good on the good years. Nick Crawford on the inside tries to lead lap number 1. Believe Jamie Walker is actually going to get the point for that, but battle for the race lead up front. Jamie Walker under fire from Nick Crawford.
We saw Cody Gibson get a little loose there on entry into turn 1. He's going to have to give up a couple positions, but to your point, the 74 going to get out there to the race lead. Brand new paint scheme out here tonight for Nick Crawford. The first battle on track, 2x2. It's going to be a battle for third. Rose to the inside, Milnes to the outside.
Rose losing a couple of positions here early in tonight's race and under pressure for possibly losing a couple of more, as he's got Christopher Norris to his inside in a 3-wide situation on the south end of the speedway. He's going to have Joseph Klein now up on the inside, maybe Josh Kanata as well as more. That 78 second place starter going back in a hurry.
That he is. A beautiful 3-wide move from Christopher Norris on the inside. He's going to go to the inside of Milnes as well. Norris is already up 6 positions, Tom, from where he started the race. He's going to go up the track. He's going to get into the 1 and put him into the wall slightly. We're 3 wide. Both of those drivers are going to lose out. Klein, Kanata, and maybe even Fuller.
3 wide, maybe almost 4 wide there on the front stretch. Chris Norris in a difficult middle spot here as he races through turns 1 and 2. He's got Alex Fuller up on his inside, Nolan Milnes on the outside, Sam Garcia not too far behind, looking to also take a spot if that becomes available. It's going to settle back out to about a 2-wide situation, with Nolan Milnes being the one who backs out of it on the entry into turn number 3.
All right, looks like these drivers have gotten it sorted for the most part, but what a hornet's nest it has been up front. Drivers jockeying for position all over the place. All the while, up front, Nick Crawford trying to bid adieu to the field. He's starting to pull a little bit of a gap. Couple car lengths over second place, Jamie Walker. Here comes Joseph Klein and Joshua Kanata. Both are up 3 and 5 spots respectively, and they are hungry.
Kind of surprising to see these drivers pushing so hard so early, Arie, with tire wear maybe being an issue. After about 12-15 laps, that's usually when you'll start to see the handling issues come into effect at a track like here or Michigan or Auto Club. But Josh Kanata, he's got that 16 running well right now, but for how long he's going to take a look to the outside of that 88 at Walker and make the pass down the backstretch, and now he's got his sights set on Nick Crawford.
That he does. Josh Kanata ripping the wall early on. Now this is going to have negative effects on the right rear tire as the tires start to wear on this race car here. That 16 is going to have to be careful on the long part of the run. Right now, it's working wonders, but all these drivers riding the inside, they're playing the longer tire game at the moment.
Man, he is about as close as you can possibly get, as he was, what's the word, ripping the boards in that 16.
I think that shot right there,
and now that
I think that shot right there would make Kyle Larson jealous, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it certainly would. Well, you know what? I find it funny. So now that he's taken the race lead from second place Nick Crawford, Josh has actually moved down the racetrack last time in turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, it looked like it was a play to get that track position.
Got another driver. Yeah, he certainly is moving forward here, and he's opened up maybe about a 3 or 4 car length here, but Christopher Norris is also using that outside line and says, you know what, it worked for you, it might just work for me.
Certainly the case, and we know those two are buddies, going to be learning from one another as the race goes on. To the inside comes the 38 now on Jamie Walker, driver who qualified on pole, starting to slide back just a little bit in the running order right here, just taking it easy for now. We know Jamie Walker is good on managing those tires and coming back as the race runs on. I'm going to be curious to see just how big of a swing it is for the drivers who are pushing now versus those who are kind of letting themselves lose a position or two.
Quick little update on the second place starter out here tonight, Ryan Rose. He has moved his way back down to about the 10th or 11th position as he's currently in a battle, but this is kind of surprising here, Arie. First stage is only 35 laps. We may see him come back with a tire advantage at the end, but this is a pretty big risk. Get an untimely caution here. This puts you in a pretty big track position hole.
That it does, and wow, we're just seeing the 78 go backwards in a hurry. I am really curious as to what... I mean, okay, there we go. There's our answer. Throwing the clutch in on... a little late on entry, to be honest, Tom. I feel like if you want to be most effective with your fuel saving, you do it a little earlier than that. But I'm up here in the booth, so I can talk all I want.
Here, he's doing the same thing here. So perhaps some fuel issues back here. Let's take a look. It's another driver that's kind of going back. Who else is kind of sliding back? You got Rob Higgs back here. Let's see if Rob's doing the same thing. It's awfully quiet on the 80 as well, so possibly some fuel issues here for these drivers, which now puts into the question for these race leaders, well, how do they fare?
I tell you what, it's an interesting question. Some drivers electing to save the fuel, others not so much. Crawford up into the lead ahead of Kanata. Kanata's going to get into the wall right there. Got the air taken off of that front nose, trying to run that high side. That's going to give Crawford 2, 3, maybe even 4 car lengths ahead of Kanata as we run on board with driver 16. Taking that high side down into turn number 3 right now. We got Christopher Norris on the inside. Jamie Walker hasn't gone anywhere either. I think it's going to be interesting to see the mix of pushing versus fuel saving for these drivers. Here's a driver I have my eyes on at the moment. Cody Gibson, down 4 spots. And out of that lead pack, notably not clutching on corner entry that time. I kind of expected to hear the 7 cutting the race car off just a little bit, trying to save the fuel. Cody Gibson's a driver, Tom, who I think we both would expect to be up there at the moment.
Yeah, certainly Cody Gibson, very fast and a very talented driver here in the All-American Racing League, and I don't think that we've heard the last of Cody Gibson out here tonight. I think he will certainly be in contention the past couple of weeks. Not the way that he's wanted that 7 nights to go, but I think tonight might be a turning point, and it's a good time as we've got the playoffs looming in just 4 weeks. But now we got a battle for the race lead. We got Christopher Norris, one of the bigger movers of tonight. He's on the inside of the 74, and he's going to complete that pass. We learned last week, Arie, clean air, once that 38 sees it, is dangerous.
It certainly is. This is a driver we're looking at now, about to lead a lap tonight, a driver who has won the past 2 times out here in the All-American Racing League, first at Sonoma earlier this season, and then at Michigan, and most recently in Iowa, where he led every single lap. This driver has the most momentum coming into tonight's event, and now he is leading here at Kansas for at least the 3rd week in a row. What can these drivers do with Mr. Norris?
Nick Crawford, leader a couple of laps ago. He has made his way back to 7th place as he gets passed by Sam Garcia and Alex Fuller. Josh Kanata is now climbing up to the rear bumper of that Toyota Supra. Cody Gibson slowly coming into camera frame up here. Up front, it is still Christopher Norris and Jamie Walker. Joseph Klein runs in 3rd. The top 5 is Nolan Milnes and Sam Garcia as they run.
Down the back straightaway we go. Jamie Walker has gotten all the way up to the rear bumper of that 38. He is putting the pressure on. He wants that race lead. How hard is he willing to push for it? He's going to ride that wall and get the momentum off at turn 4. He should have a shot entering turn 1 right here. This lap, it's going to be Norris at the line. Here comes the bright green Mountain Dew machine. Fakes to the inside. Does go to the inside. 38 defends outside. Here we go then. And we can't count out Joseph Klein in the 5, running in 3rd.
Going to be difficult to make the pass on the inside as the outside has so much momentum here. As you see Christopher Norris defending that position down the backstretch and going to retain the lead as they enter into turn number 3. Arie, I think the opportunities for passes on the inside are going to be limited here unless it's on a restart, but we'll see how the tire wear falls off and who needs to save a little bit more fuel in the next
Well, I tell you what, here's an interesting scenario. The 16 of Josh Kanata, he is going to say, I'm coming down on pit road. I'm not saving no fuel. Who's going to come with me? We're going to find out. But I tell you what, that 16 car, if people are taking tires, is going to have an advantage being the first one to pit. But if it's a bunch of fuel-only stops, given the length of tonight's race, I wouldn't be surprised. And in that case, it won't matter when you pit for the most part. Keeping an eye on that timer for the 16. It's a 6-second pit stop, Tom, so that tells me fuel only.
Trevor Harmon also on pit road as well in the 029. He's going to pit from about the 12th place running position. 18 laps down, working lap number 19 right now. Times are already about a 1.5 seconds off from where they qualified with a 30.7 for the race leader Christopher Norris last time, or for his best lap, excuse me, last time by was over 32 seconds. So going to be an advantage here for these drivers. We'll see how long the leaders stay out.
Certainly the case. Getting some good onboard shots right here. Nolan Milnes in the 1 car going to the inside of the 5 and the 88. Going to try and make that bottom line work. Outside line's going to have the momentum heading down the back straightaway, though. See what kind of side draft we can get here. Not too much. The one's going to slide back in line.
Trevor Harmon's on pit road for an extended period of time down here. 35 seconds in the box. Perhaps some issues for the 29. I don't see any active black flags on that 29, but certainly a longer than expected normal time.
Absolutely the case for the 029. We're going to hope he can get back out there. Looks like he did finish the pit stop, 47 seconds worth of note. Dakota Moniz in the 05, 14.8 seconds. Looks like Dakota Moniz opts to take tires here in halfway through stage 1.
I like that here because now he's on the offense, I guess, as he's going to be able to run a little bit faster than the race leaders. We'll see how it plays out here. He is currently trapped a lap down. He's got 3 cars in between him and the race leaders. So we'll see how this plays out for the 05 of Dakota.
I tell you what, drivers making their way around lap traffic. That's Caleb West in the 48, going to be the first driver to be going down a lap right here on pace. Drivers all getting around that spooky themed 48 machine. Is going to get up into the wall trying to stay out of the way of these drivers. No harm, no foul there. Looking all throughout the field right now. This is one of our closest battles on track. This battle right here for the race lead. It's been interesting to see this develop, Tom. We've kind of gotten this 7-car breakaway, which was about 8 cars before Kanata pit, where they're all kind of in this pack nose to tail, and then you get about 3 seconds before you get to anyone else.
Yeah, you've got about the top 5 running together right now, maybe top 4 running together as they run right now. Sam Garcia, Alex Fuller, Cody Gibson currently in a pack of their own a little bit. And then kind of on the outside of the top 10 right now, you've got Shannon Wood, Nick Crawford, Ryan Rose. They're 4.5, 5 seconds back before you got to look for them for the race leader.
That's right. We can get some good shots right here from these static cameras around the track. The gaps between each of these mini packs of drivers. Most people have company to some degree, 2, 3, 4 drivers, but everyone's split up by these healthy gaps all throughout the field at the moment. Real interesting way that this race is shaped up here in Stage 1. And let's not forget, Stage 2 is nearly twice as long. So it should be a very interesting race here, so long as we keep it green. Right now we're watching Zachary Wake to the inside, Aaron Bach over in that 44 to the outside. Battle for P17.
Zachary Wake gets past for 17th place, so give that spot to the 44 of Bach over, clicking back up towards the front of the field. Jamie Walker still on the back of that 38, not going away anytime soon. But I think the danger here is that 3rd place and 4th place is so close here that if Jamie elects to take a move, which he might do just here, that's going to bring us into a 4-car battle for the race lead at the start-finish line. It's still Christopher Norris, but we've got some traffic ahead.
Traffic ahead and pressure from behind. What are these race leaders going to do? We know they haven't been saving enough fuel to make it to the end of Stage 1, which is at lap 35, 10 laps to go in Stage 1. Presumably, all of these race leaders are going to have to come down at least for a splash of fuel. Everyone in this first pack of, let's call it 7 drivers, on track at the moment. We already know Josh Kanata came down early, got the fuel out of the way. William Bruton is on pit road right now. Dakota Moniz, Trevor Harmon have also come down pit road already.
Inside of 10 laps to go in stage number 1 out here tonight in the All-American Racing League. We have been green flag racing since the drop of the green flag out here tonight. No incident cautions so far, but we do know that there's a stage caution coming in about 8 laps as Joseph Klein is able to take away 2nd place. Jamie Walker, is he coming on pit road or does he have issues?
He may have missed it. Let's go ahead and get a replay right here for Jamie Walker in the 88. Let's see what happens. Was he trying to come down on pit road? It looks like he was.
Yeah, I would say so. I thought maybe originally he got tagged by somebody, but that looked like it was a very maybe indecisive, or maybe he looked up in the mirror and didn't realize that he had a car so close to him, and maybe that spooked him on the entry into pit road, and that's gonna be painful as he is going to have to lose multiple spots here as he's gonna pit from the 9th place running order.
That's right, this time by Cody Gibson, Jamie Walker, both on pit road. Cannot go any further. Keep you updated on who else comes down right now. This is a battle for P2, and boy, is it a battle. The 1 and the 5 squeezing each other all the way up into the fence. Down into turn 3 we go. Milnes is going to get that position right there. We can see Alex Fuller ripping the high side. 1 spot further back. That Scooby-Doo machine creeping up into the picture, up 2 spots from where he started. Sam Garcia is up 5 spots from where he started this race at the moment, currently running in the top 5.
Top 5 running order for Sam Garcia out here tonight. Biggest movers of the evening so far, with a couple of green flag pit stops mixed in. Brian Troy up 17 spots from his starting position out here. Tanner Marr up 14. Sam Dyer up 17. If any of these drivers can make the full 35 laps here, this is going to be huge for them.
It's going to be pretty big. I would certainly agree. Here's a name that I didn't expect to see up here. That says 02 of Shannon Wood. I'd have to double check on that one, but I believe one of the newcomers here to the All-American Racing League, currently running in P7, up 5 positions from where Wood started this event. Another name to keep an eye on tonight. Brian Troy in the 27 opts to come down onto pit road. Up front, Christopher Norris's lead is just about a second, and it looks like he's going to come down this time by.
Oh, he's going to be close getting on pit road down here as he's going to get sideways on the entrance of pit road. Nolan Milne's going to inherit the race lead. Joseph Klein takes second, but a big slide for the 38, that Ford Mustang, as they came on pit road. Alex Fuller follows him on.
Amazingly, no speeding penalty on that one. Got the car woed up, but that was about as close as you're going to get. This is now the battle for the race lead. Nolan Milnes, Joseph Klein, driver 1, driver 5. We've seen these two throwing haymakers at one another all run so far here in stage 1. Cannot get away from each other, but this time Milnes is going to bring us down. Struggles to get on pit road. Wow, this pit road is proving to be quite difficult for these drivers out here tonight. Samuel Garcia, Shannon Wood also going to jump down on pit road this time around. New race leader, Joseph Klein.
We expect to see pit road close next time by with 2 laps to go in the stage. Joseph Klein on an off lane here down the backstretch. Makes me wonder if he's going to come down pit road before pit road does close. We will see what he does on the exit turn number 4. Yeah, he's getting checked up. Let's keep an eye on this 5 on the 74 as Nick is now on the inside of the 45.
Here we go. Nick Crawford staying out, and pit road should close at this point. Shane Johnson in the 2 does have a penalty on pit road further back in the field, but right now, Nick Crawford in the 74 is not battling for position with Fuller in the 45. Nick Crawford is on an island, 3 seconds to Ryan Rose in second place, further back, just out of shot. Can the 74 make it on fuel? Let's not forget, Tom, the number one thing that bites these drivers when fuel saving. Is he coming down right now? He is coming down.
Oh, and he also may miss it. A lot of issues getting onto pit road here for a lot of these drivers tonight.
That's right, and now Ryan Rose inherits the lead. 1 to go in stage 1. Here we go then. To my point that I was trying to make a second ago, Tom, it's not running out of fuel before the stage that gets you. It's running out of fuel after the stage, but before the pit road opens. That is what gets these drivers all the time. Does Ryan Rose in the 78, Joe Hudson in the 23, Rob Higgs in the 80, and so on, do these drivers have enough fuel for that additional pace lap and a half? Get around, get on pit road. Here we go. Ryan Rose is going to secure those 10 points at the line to win stage 1 right here. You got to go back 19 seconds to second place.
19 seconds, but more importantly, Ari, you got to go back 34 seconds, almost an entire, 9 seconds to 10th place before you find where the stage will be thrown. So Ryan Rose still under power out here as we wait for the yellow flag to come out, and we're looking for maybe the 35.
I believe the 39 is out of fuel. Zachary Wake stayed out and is out of fuel.
All right, so Zachary Wake, one of the drivers that did not come down pit road. Ryan Rose going to win stage number 1 out here, but the battle is not over just yet, as we need to wait for the pace cars to pick up the field and for pit road to open.
Alrighty, this is going to shake the running order up significantly. I do believe the start of stage 2 is going to be quite the kerfuffle, Tom, because now we've got all of our fastest drivers stuck back in the pack. I want to say this was just the 39 coming to a stop. Out of fuel.
Yeah, Zachary Wake having to pull over and take a tow back to pit road. That's going to add some additional service time to Zachary Wake's pit stops here. So Ryan Rose, Joe Hudson, Rob Higgs, Ron Holyfield, the top runners that did not pit here. So we saw a lot of fuel stops there, but did see a couple of tire stops with Dakota Moniz and Joseph Klein.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if those drivers elect to come down and take tires again, or if they try to save a set here at the end of stage 1. Going to be an interesting thing to see nonetheless. But here we go then. The whole field should be coming down on pit road this time by. Actually, no, Joseph Klein had pit 2 laps before the stage was over, took those tires, and he will stay out and get the race lead and track position on what I think is a pretty good call, actually.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this works. Drivers know that they cannot make stage number 2 without stopping. So take the track position. You've got the freshest tires that you can possibly have, and see where the cards may fall for the 5.
All right, here we go. Off of pit road, it's going to be Rose, followed by Zimmerman, Milnes, Hudson. Waiting a little bit. We got Norris, we got Higgs, we got Garcia, William Bruton looks like stayed out. Gonna slot in somewhere there. We got Hollifield, Kanata, Gibson, Fuller, Crawford, Moniz, Walker, and Bell.
All right, Arie, so we know that drivers can't make 35, well, I guess say that carefully. Some drivers can make 35 laps with a little bit of saving. Stage 2 going to be 50 laps. How do these drivers split it?
Well, I think we're going to see a lot of drivers just splitting it right down the middle, somewhere around 25 laps into this run. They're going to come down. And then you usually get a number of drivers who are just going to go all the way until the tank is dry. So 32, 33, 34 laps, depending on how they're running up to that point. Drivers who might want to just catch a timely caution, drivers who want to be on the attack as Stage 2 comes to a close, either or. It looks like we might have issues for Ryan Rose under caution. Let's take a look. Is he bring the car to a stop for some reason? It would appear so.
Hear me out here, Arie. I broke out the old trusty calculator. We just saw Joseph Klein inherit the race lead through this round of green flag and yellow flag pit stops. If a driver thinks that they may be able to replicate what Joseph Klein just did in stage number 3, perhaps they only run 12, 15 laps here in the opening parts of stage 2, and then they run all the way dry to the second tank in stage 2, and then inherit the race lead at the beginning of stage 3.
I tell you what, it's an interesting call. An interesting call indeed. I don't hate flipping the stage like this, especially when you know there's a lot of strategy shenanigans going on at the moment. The field is going to be really mixed up at the moment. It'd be one thing if the 5 car had all of the usual contenders, all of the fast drivers out here tonight starting right behind him while he has a 2-lap disadvantage on the tires. But it's another thing when you have the entire field all mixed and mangled at the moment. So I like this call to go up there, get the race lead. That clean air is really valuable, and I wouldn't mind it if a driver to go for this same strategy at the end of stage 2.
All right, to restart and repack for stage number 2, Joseph Klein going to be the control car for this restart, the race leader as they run right now. Brian Zimmerman on the outside of row number 1 in that 28 Chevy Camaro, having a good run out here tonight. Nolan Milnes in 3rd, Christopher Norris in 4th, and the top 5 is rounded out by Rob Higgs right now. As lights are out on top of the pace car, and we expect to go green flag racing at the end of this lap to find out who's going to take stage number 2, 50 laps this time.
50 laps to the end of stage 2. No cautions for incident up to this point in tonight's event. Sunshine, the pity 240 out here in Kansas. The sun is continuing to set. It's almost fully set. The lights are illuminated over the racing surface at this point. That track is only going to continue to cool down as the night goes on. To the inside, race leader in the 5, Joseph Klein. To the outside, Brian Zimmerman in the 28, up 13 positions from where he started tonight's race. Into the green flag, or into the restart zone we go. Pardon me, green flag is out, and let's see what these drivers can do down into turn 1.
Joseph Klein up through the gearboxes and going to lead us down into turn number 1 as we have issues on this restart. Brian Troy looks like in the back having issues. Multiple cars involved in an incident here on this restart.
That's right. That looked like that started before we even got to the start-finish line. Brian Troy was sideways on the racetrack. We're going to try and see if we can't figure out what happened coming to the restart right here. As we zoom it out, is this just a little bit of an accordion effect at the moment? We see the 27 just get into the 02, into the 029 in again. These drivers are stacking up. The 39 gets in there. We're going to have to see this in real time, I think, Tom, and we're going to have to see this from a little further back.
Antonio Bannister getting involved, Sam Dyer getting involved. This is kind of a classic. This will kind of happen when you have a long lineup on the inside here. The outside, a little bit shorter for drivers having to pit here, so go on board with the 27.
I tell you what, Tom, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to call it like I see it. I think the 27 was just getting a little too antsy on that restart. And a little too antsy considering you have that many cars in front of you on the inside line. The stack ups are going to happen. You got to be ready for those, and you got to give the guys around you a little more space.
Take another look here, maybe up from the blimp cam. So yeah, I mean, everybody seems to be moving at a consistent speed. I think the thing that caught some drivers off guard was the 23 was maybe a little bit out of line, but still holding a good speed. And then there was just contact back there with the 0227, and then some collateral damage for the 10, the 31. So that's an unfortunate way to have a restart here for some of these drivers.
Yeah, absolutely is. As it shook out up front, Nolan Milnes gets up to P2. Drop Brian Zimmerman to third, Christopher Norris in fourth, Samuel Garcia rounds out the top 5 in the running order as it sits. Stage 1 winner Ryan Rose all the way back in P14 at the moment. Did not get on and off pit road as well as the 78 would have liked to. We got a couple of drivers who elected to pit this time around, or under this caution, excuse me. Joe Hudson, Ron Hollifield, Shannon Wood still on pit road at the moment. We also had Sam Dyer, Aaron Bockover, Trevor Harmon.
Lights are out on the iRacing.com pace car, and we're going to double them up once again with Joseph Klein on the inside and Nolan Milnes electing to take the outside here on this second restart of stage number 2. Brian Zimmerman still holds on to third, Christopher Norris in fourth, and name that I think we've maybe overlooked a lot tonight and maybe over the course of the season is that 50th Sam Garcia. He's been fast all season long, just hasn't got the results.
That's right, he absolutely has. He's got a couple of runner-up finishes to his credit earlier in the season, both having an extra set of tires and taking them late in a race and then charging up in the closing laps, interestingly enough. So a driver who we certainly know is no stranger to pulling some strategy cards out of the hat. We're going to see how tonight's race goes for driver 50, but so far so good, up 5 positions from where he started tonight's event. Lights are out on that pace car. We're getting ready to restart this time. Once again, driver 5 on the inside is going to be in control of the restart this time. To his outside, it's going to be driver 1, Nolan Milnes.
Time to go green flag racing once again out here. Pace car makes that hard left-hand turn down pit road, and we're going to see the green flag out once again. Joseph Klein brings us into the restart zone, and we're going to try this again to begin stage number 2. Everybody up through the gearboxes, and away we are.
Here we are then, up to speed, nice and clean. Driver 5 going to get that racing line cooking down into turn 1 right here. Going to try and pull whatever advantage he can. First battle on track, it's going to be P3.
P3, Christopher Norris, Brian Zimmerman, Sam Garcia in here as well. Alex Fuller looks to throw his name in the ring for this contention as well, as Sam's going to get a good run. Brian Zimmerman's going to lose multiple spots on the entrance of turn number 3. He may lose 2 more by the time we get to the start-finish line. Alex Fuller on the inside, and is that Nick Crawford up on the outside?
Here we go then, nearly 3 wide with Crawford, doesn't get to the outside right there. Battle further up for P2, but we're watching this chaos right now as Zimmerman gets shuffled out of line up to that high side. He's going to lose another position to Josh Kanata a little further back. Meanwhile, these drivers are still 2x2x2 from 5th on back.
Great battles all over the speedway here as we get some green flag laps in stage number 2. And that's going to bring us a little bit closer to the fuel strategy for drivers. Maybe might be able to make it. Still going to need some additional help here. But Cody Gibson currently taking a look on 10th place. Brian Zimmerman continues to lose positions here on this restart. Brian Zimmerman, last pit on lap number 37. He was one of the drivers that came down on this most recent yellow flag with the remainder of the field. So kind of surprising to see this 28 losing spots.
Well, I tell you what, Tom, it was a 9.7 second pit stop. Did he take 2 tires by chance? Would be an interesting call this early into the race, maybe to get that track position or something. But that 28 car is dropping quick, handling not there for that race car. We jump a little further up. We could see some more battles heating up. The 74 starting to put pressure on Samuel Garcia for P4.
On board with Nick Crawford in the Toyota Supra, he's going to take a look to the outside of the 50 of Sam Garcia, see what he's able to do, if he's able to use the momentum on the exit of the corner. We saw Josh Kanata using this outside line early in stage number 1 to ultimately get up there and take the race lead. Will we see the same thing from the 74 as he is still battling these two drivers for what will be a 4th place running position?
He's going to get a nose to the outside of Mills, headed down the back straightaway. That should get him the position through 3 and 4 right here. It's early enough in the run that you can use those tires on that high line, make it work. All of these drivers on the inside, they know they could go faster on the outside, but it's not about going faster right now. It's about saving enough tire to go faster later on in the run. Right now, Crawford in the 74, he wants to get that track position back that he lost a little earlier. That's his main objective. And up front, there's going to be a battle for the lead shortly as Joseph Klein has a rear view mirror full of Christopher Norris.
Christopher Norris takes the low end of the speedway down in turn number 1 to close that gap. Now the roles are reversed in turn 3 with Klein on the inside, Norris up on the outside as that 38 continues to close the distance between him and race leader Joseph Klein at the start-finish line. It's under a 1/10 of a second between 1st and 2nd place with Norris on the outside into 1.
Here we go, then Norris is going to rip the high line right here, try and keep that nose to the outside of race leader Klein. Can he do it? No, he can't. To the inside goes the 38. Crossover, he will get the nose on entry, but a very hindered corner entry right there. He's going to have to check up a little more than he'd like. Klein's going to keep it pinned in the middle.
That was a big move down the backstretch, and it might just get him a lap led here at the start-finish line. I want to visually eye test, give that to the 38, possibly a bonus point for Christopher Norris out here tonight. Nick Crawford in the camera shot here, coming in a hurry up on the outside, using that very familiar outside line.
That's right, that 78 still chugging along on the outside, trying to make use of those tires while he can. That tells me that that's going to be a driver who probably aims to take those tires at around halfway through this stage, not run it all the way out, so he's not too concerned about getting those tires the full length. We're going to see how it plays out. We can see Kanata in that golden 16 making his way up in the picture a little further back as well. Truly running in that outside line up to that middle and outside. Jamie Walker back there as well as we continue to watch the top 3. Slice and Dice, they've got it figured out at the moment, so we'll jump back here to P4.
Let's not sweep under the rug here, Ari. We saw a bunch of drivers with issues getting on pit road. One of them being Jamie Walker. Lost a bunch of track position here, currently runs back in 8th in the middle of stage number 2. We could very well see the same thing if we do experience another round of green flag pit stops here. So drivers got to make a mental note of what you did last time, as Alex Fuller is going to get up into the wall.
Alex Fuller on the 45 into the wall through turns 1 and 2. Going to lose a little bit of track position on that one. Doesn't affect anyone around him at the moment. Up front, Nick Crawford at the 74. He's caught the 38, and now the pressure is on. He is all over that rear bumper.
He is all over the back of the 38 Ford Mustang as we come across the start-finish line. See what Nick is able to do down here. He may be close enough to take a look on the outside. He's going to need to put the power down and try to use that momentum to have a spot on the corner exit here. Not going to happen out of turn number 2. Going to have to wait one more set of corners.
He has the momentum down the back straightaway, not enough to get side by side with the 38. He's going to try and run this seam through 3 and 4. If you use that seam just right, keeping one set of tires just above it, the others below, it'll help rotate that car, especially through the center of the corner. It can be very useful. Though I would expect the issue when running this high side isn't really going to be that you get particularly tight, but that those rear tires start to get cooked and you get really loose center off. So I don't know how much more rotation you want, but at the moment it's helping.
One thing I find ironic here, Ari, is we're following a great battle for the race. Chris Norris was able to put his photography as a main sponsor on the 74, but not on his own.
Yeah.
So it's fun to take a look at those small little details, but these two up front are certainly going at it here as these drivers. Nick Crawford has not been able to take a look for the race lead just yet. May have an opportunity down the backstretch here as he gets a good run off the exit here. I think the 74 is probably a little bit faster right now, but what he does with it, that's the question.
That is the question. Right now, his tires are going to be screaming in that much dirty air. So we're going to see how much longer he can hold on. As further back, we see the 16 just get into the wall on corner exit. He's going to have to give up that battle with the 1. He may also lose the spot to Jamie Walker in the 88. Josh Kanata drops 2 spots down into P7 as it sits. Most of these race leaders have gotten themselves sorted out, running single file at the moment. Currently looking at Nolan Milnes in P5.
Jamie Walker continues his march back up through the field as he currently runs in 6th right now. Had a pit road issue in stage number 1, and doing a good job making his way back up through as we are almost halfway through stage number 2. He's got some heat on Nolan Milnes on that Chevy Camaro as he looks to regain his position as a race leader.
That's right, coming off of turn 2 right here with the momentum down the back straightaway. We've seen a good little mix of inside line preference versus outside line preference of these drivers through stage 2 here. Ryan Rose going to be the first driver to bite on pit road partway through stage 2.
All right, so you kind of called it. This is the halfway mark through stage 2, so Ryan Rose pitting just a lap before the halfway mark of stage number 2. How did the leaders answer the phone call? Will Christopher Norris, will Nick Crawford, Joseph Klein, Sam Garcia, or any of the other front runners come down this time? We'll see if they elect to stay out another lap or 2, run it long until the tank is dry, or if they come down immediately.
I wouldn't be surprised to see the 74 come down quick the way he was aggressive on those tires. Surprisingly, he's still holding on right now in P2. He does have a very fast race car out here tonight. Does Nick Crawford. All of these race leaders going to stay out one more time this go around. We did have that quick caution at the start of the stage, so that gives these drivers a little bit more leniency on the tires. They can take it just a little further if they want to. Could be that, could be running it all the way out and being ready for a potential caution. You do have to be careful, Tom, here at a 1.5 mile racetrack. If you're going to pit for 4 tires and fuel, you are going to go a lap down if a caution comes out shortly thereafter.
Yeah, and there's currently 5 cars 1 lap down, so if you come down, you may not be in the free pass position for several laps, and an untimely caution could trap you a lap down until the beginning of stage number 3, and that's not how you want to begin your final second half run to the finish of tonight's race.
Certainly not, as these drivers continue to circulate lap 62 of 160. We are a little over halfway in stage 2 at the moment, waiting to see who the next drivers to bite on pit road are going to be. Watching from on board the gearbox of our race leader, Christopher Norris, and the 38 driver who won the past 2 races here in the All-American Racing League, looking to set the standard at 3 in a row, a feat that's never been done here in the All-American Racing League, given we're in our inaugural season.
Got to imagine here, Arie, if I'm Jamie Walker, or if I'm Nolan Milnes, if I'm Josh Kanata back there in 5th through 8th through 9th place kind of running right now, this would really be an opportunity for you to kind of jump up here and take some track position here. And even if they run to lap 35, lap 36, I mean, yeah, that's a tire difference, but we had a couple of laps to open stage number 2 underneath the yellow flag, so maybe a little bit less of a disadvantage if they elect to do that.
Yeah, I would be surprised if we didn't see some track position games from these drivers who are close enough to the race lead. Really, everyone up inside of the top 10, and then you have to go a couple seconds back to get to 11th. So Cody Gibson back there in 10th on up. Number of drivers who I think are in play to potentially have some shenanigans here as we see Alex Fuller to the inside of Josh Kanata. Looks like up here it's intensifying just a little bit. Nick Crawford, he's starting to fall off a little bit on those tires. He's lost our race leader. Joseph Klein is under big pressure from Sammy Garcia. He's had to defend pretty hard into turn 3 a couple laps in a row. And oh, by the way, Jamie Walker in the 88, he's still moving forward.
Jamie Walker continues his march forward as he takes a look to the outside of Sam Garcia for what would be a change in the 4th place running order and set his sights back up towards a top 3 running position. Jamie Walker going to slide a little bit high into turn number 1 there, but going to get a big run out. He may get boxed in here on the backstretch. Nope, he's going to drop down on the inside of the 50.
That he does, and he is going to get the momentum down in to turn number 3. He's going to get that position a little further up. Joseph Klein looking to take the spot away from Nick Crawford. Battle for P2 on track, and Jamie Walker is going to join this quickly.
Big slide from the 74 on the exit of turn number 4, and that allows the 88 of Walker to take a look down to the inside and bring maybe the 50 and the 1 directly in tow right behind this 88 of Jamie Walker. So far, only a couple of cars have been down on pit road as Rob Higgs come down on pit road. You've got just Ryan Rose and Rob Higgs currently down for service.
Well, here we go then, Tom. These drivers not splitting stage 2 by any means. All of these drivers seem to be running it until the tank is just about dry. I don't think they'll all go as far as they can. You're going to have a driver who elects to come down maybe a lap earlier than they think everyone else will, try to get that undercut. We'll see how it plays out, but these drivers certainly going to use all of that fuel. That's going to give Ryan Rose an advantage here. He should come out with the race lead by the time it's all said and done, but he will have a lot of fast new tires approaching him in the back half of stage 2 here.
Yeah, I don't know that it's going to be enough for these drivers to catch the 78 if these drivers do run it all the way out to the end of their pit cycle. Right now, last time drivers were on pit road for the majority of the field was lap number 37. A couple of yellow flag laps built in there. So these drivers can probably run to about lap number 75 or so. So that kind of puts us a little bit closer to the window than maybe anybody was expecting out here tonight. So a little bit of a flip of the strategy on the fly.
Could very well be the case. We've got a battle right here for P6. Josh Kanata taking that away from Nick Crawford to Samuel Garcia in the 50. He is going to bite. So here we go. First driver in this lead pack coming down on pit road
Sam's
right
got
now.
issues on pit road.
Oh, he does. He is going to have to toe to the
Sam
pits.
came onto pit road and then stopped on pit road. I'm not sure what happened here.
I'm not entirely sure either. It looks like he was just completely pulling off. He even towed to the pit stop. I think he even disappeared from the server, so potential issues outside of the sim for Samuel Garcia in the 50. See if we can't follow up at some point with information there. Jamie Walker, Larry Bell, Dakota Moniz are going to be the next few drivers to bring their race cars down for service. So here we are then. The pit sequence is fully underway as we watch our race leader, Christopher Norris, out in front by a little over 1 second. Going to have a healthy gap to work with here. Doesn't have to worry too much about any undercuts. He'll have the better tires if so. Joseph Klein is going to come down. Cody Gibson comes down this time as well. Looks like these drivers learned from stage 1 that getting on pit road is going to be trickier than they expect.
Absolutely haven't seen too many issues getting onto pit road in stage 2 out here so far. Bunch of drivers answering the phone call to what I want to say is Sam Garcia coming down on pit road, but perhaps they don't know that he had an issue once he got on pit road, and looks like he is still down in his yeah, he's gone. Okay, never mind. Nick Crawford comes down on pit road, and he's going to bring Alex Fuller with him as well.
That he is. Both of these drivers get on. It was a little sketchy getting on a pit road right there, but they managed to do so, and down and away they have it. So it looks like a number of these drivers are taking fuel only, Tom, by the looks of it. Or actually, here, let me double check that. Jamie Walker, Cody Gibson, fuel only. Ryan Rose, Joseph Klein, they take tires. Aaron Bockover, Rob Higgs, excuse me, they did not just pit. A little further back, Larry Bell, Dakota Moniz, fuel only. So some mixed strategies in here.
Christopher Norris, the race leader, going to come on pit road. He's followed by Nolan Milnes and Josh Kanata. The top 3 come onto pit road. That's going to pass over the race lead to Ron Holyfield in the 25 out here. And looks like Shannon Wood also going to be remaining out on the track to take second place as they run right now with a pit stop due.
All right, couple of new names up towards the front with the cycling green flag pit strategies. The 25 out in front, Holyfield, Wood, and Hudson, the top 3. As now Christopher Norris, Nolan Milnes are going to exit pit road. Both fuel-only stops. Josh Kanata, fuel-only. Brian Zimmerman, fuel-only as well. So this is going to be an interesting situation right here where Joseph Klein and Ryan Rose are on tires, and effectively the rest of the field fuel-only pit stops. So that 78 and that 5, they should have an advantage all the way to the end of the stage.
Yeah, and Ryan Rose, although it's showing 26 seconds back on the timing tower, he's only about 6 seconds off of the race leader. The top 3 yet to pit, a 20-second difference between the race leader and 4th place. So Ryan Rose well within striking distance here in the final 10 laps of stage number 2, but Ron Holyfield going to stay out on track. Shannon Wood going to make way onto pit road. Joe Hudson stays out to take second place.
All right, we've got 2 drivers yet to make their pit stops. We're watching one of them right now, race leader Ron Holyfield in the 25, and that Wheelan Camaro down the back straightaway. How much longer can the 25 stay out? Both of these drivers, Tom, last pit on 42, so they were a little off sequence from the rest of these drivers out there on track. They're going to be able to stretch it just a little bit more. Let's see, 42, that puts us at late 70s. I mean, they're going to get close. I don't think they can stretch that, though.
It's about a 3-lap difference before they see the yellow flag, and then with the cycle of the pace car coming out, you're probably going to need about 4 laps saved in that 25. The 23 of Joe Hudson's going to come down onto pit road, so that leaves us 1 vehicle yet to pit here in stage number 2, and that is the race leader of Ron Holyfield, who's going to stay out for another lap and give us 8 laps to go in stage number 2.
All right, so the 25 car remains our race leader. You got to go about 19 seconds back to get to who will be the effective race leader, Christopher Norris, in the 38. Nolan Milnes not too far behind, and here comes new tires. Joseph Klein, he's going to use one of those precious sets of tires here in stage 2 to get up here and capitalize, try and win a stage, try and get the track position. He's going to get ahead of Milnes. Only one more driver to beat in terms of those who have already pit, and he has got the tires to do so. This should be child's play. Last time around, nearly 2 seconds faster was the 5 than the 38. He's going to get around, no questions asked right there, as the 25 makes his way down on pit road. So that will relinquish the lead this time by, it's going to be the 5 of Joseph Klein at the line.
All right, so that completes our stage number 2 pit stops out here tonight. Joseph Klein inherits the race lead. Christopher Norris in 3rd, Nolan Milnes in 3rd, Nick Crawford and Jamie Walker in the top 5 as they run right now with just 7 laps to go in the stage. One driver I'm keeping my eye on here, Arie, is that 78 of Ryan Rose. How high can he remain in the closing laps of stage number 2 as he's trying to set up for a good start to stage 3?
Well, I'll tell you what, he doesn't have as good of tires as the 5 of Klein, but he did take new tires about halfway through the stage right here, so he does have an advantage over all these other drivers. It'll be a little less pronounced, but he is going to go to the inside of Walker right here. He should be able to get this move done. He should have the tire underneath him to do so. He will get clear out of turn 2 and down the back straightaway. Let's take a look at these last lap times. I mean, I'm looking at it, and Rose in the 78, not all that different from the drivers ahead of him. They're low 32s. I'm not really seeing enough right there to get any further.
Well, yeah, the problem is that Ryan Rose has a bunch of hungry cars directly behind him, and with a lot fresher tires. Jamie Walker right there with him. You got Alex Fuller within a second, Cody Gibson within a second and a half. So a lot of drivers within striking distance here in the closing laps of stage number 2 for the 78, and that would kind of undo all the work that Ryan has done through stage number 2 if he has to restart 8th or 9th or 10th in stage number 3.
I don't think that'll be a concern given his tire situation's better than those behind him. I don't think he's going to catch Crawford based on the lap times. I want to see this one since he had clean air that time around. Exact same lap time as the 74 of Crawford ahead of him. So seems to be a pretty stagnant 5th place right there for the 78 of Rose, which will still be some good points. Up front, Joseph Klein has already opened this lead to nearly a second and a half with those tires. If you're using them, you might as well use them. It's going to be 3 to go in stage 2 at the line.
Joseph Klein putting his name at the top of the charts here in the Sunshine the Pity 240 out here tonight as we have under 3 laps to go in stage number 2. Joseph trying to get his first win in the All-American Racing League out here tonight, and would come at a good time with the playoffs just in a handful of weeks before we reset to determine a champion.
I tell you what, Tom, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe my ears deceive me. Riding on board with Joseph Klein in the 5. He's shutting that race car off. Sure enough.
He pitted lap 71 here.
I'm wondering, maybe there was a miscommunication on how much to fill that tank. Maybe he's just trying to save a little bit so he doesn't have to fill as much under this next yellow. I'm not sure what the case might be for driver 5. He does have this lead to use as a buffer to save this fuel, but whatever the case, All eyes on our race leader. Can he make it to the end of stage 2? Final lap.
1 lap to go in stage number 2. Joseph Klein leads us off of turn number 2. 10th place is 15.5 seconds back. Issues for Aaron Bach over on the exit of 2 on the backstretch here. Looks like he's going to go around single car incident. Don't look like there's too much damage. There's also a car sitting in the grass in turn 3. That's going to be Jackson West in the 76.
Here we go then. Across the line, Joseph Klein is going to win stage number 2 here in Kansas. Christopher Norris, Nolan Milnes, and Nick Crawford. Next across the line, Ryan Rose completes our top 5. We're now waiting for the 10th place driver to cross the start-finish line. Rob Higgs in the 80. To secure that final point. Yellow flag is out officially. Rounding out that top 10, Jamie Walker in 6th, Alex Fuller in 7th, Cody Gibson, Joshua Kanata, and of course Rob Higgs. Those are the points paying positions here in stage number 2. And now we get ready to hit pit road one more time and take a look at a pretty lengthy stage 3.
All right, so stage 3 going to be 80 laps to bring us to lap number 160 out here tonight. We expect to see the entirety of the field to come down onto pit road as the pace car is going to pick everybody up in turns 1 and 2. Going to pick up the race leader Joseph Klein, 2nd place Christopher Norris there as well. Nolan Milnes runs 3rd. The top 5 in stage 2 is Nick Crawford and Ryan Rose.
All right, field slowed down to pace car speed. Seen some different strategies up to this point in the race. A couple of drivers elected to take an extra set halfway through stage 1. A couple of drivers elected to take that set halfway through stage 2. And now we hit stage 3. There's a number of drivers who have gotten through both of the first 2 stages using only 1 set apiece. They are going to have plenty of tires for this 3rd and final stage, whatever it may bring. Going to be interesting to see how it all shakes out. Down on a pit road we go. Joseph Klein, Christopher Norris lead the way.
Everybody's going to bring us down to pit road. 45 miles an hour for the entire field. That is the pit road speed limit. Go above that and iRacing will flag you and say you were too fast on pit road. And at this juncture in the race, Arie, you cannot afford to have these kind of mistakes on pit road, as it looks like everybody's going to come down without issue and stop in their box for scheduled service.
Absolutely not. Going into stage 3 is the worst time to have any possible issues. The stage racing benefits you early on in the race in the first half. If you have any issues, you know you have cautions to look forward to, but when you throw those guaranteed cautions out the window, the intensity picks up big time in terms of avoiding penalties, avoiding trouble as much as you can. Race off a pit road, Joseph Klein holds on to the lead. It's going to be Norris, Milnes, Crawford, Walker, the top 5. Alex Fuller, Cody Gibson, Josh Kanata, Rob Higgs, and Dakota Moniz, the top 10. Ryan Rose giving up positions, potentially a speeding penalty on pit exit.
Yeah, I don't see any sort of penalty here for Ryan, but certainly going back towards the back of the field like he was. So this is multiple times tonight that we've seen the 78 have to go to the back of the field and try it again.
Yeah, not entirely sure what the situation is with the 78, but not the first time we've seen it tonight. Driver who we know showed speed out here tonight, so that's certainly not going to help his race. Now, stage 3 is a very long stage. Anything can happen. We are racing all the way to the conclusion of lap 160. We are only working lap 88 at the moment.
Pretty impressive that these drivers have only had the 1 incident caution here throughout the course of tonight's race, and that was on a restart. No cautions at speed out here tonight, which for Kansas, Arie, is a pretty good job for these drivers.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with how racy the track has been tonight. There's been a lot of close moves, a lot of side drafting, a lot of 3-wide action, and these drivers have been putting on a great show, especially considering there's some new names out there in the field, and new names can always, get in there and potentially rub people the wrong way, cause some incidents maybe, or what have you, but everyone's had a pretty good race so far. All
right, well, we're about to go green flag racing for stage number 3. and it's going to be led by Joseph Klein on the inside, Christopher Norris up on the outside, and row number 2, Nolan Milnes and Nick Crawford. Away we go into the restart zone. Let's go racing for stage number 3. Give us 70 laps to go in tonight's event.
Joseph Klein's going to lead us down into turn 1. Battle is on for second. Nolan Milnes wants it. He is going to take it away from Christopher Norris in the 38. He might be looking for more. Here comes Milnes to the inside.
On the inside is Milnes, but maybe on the inside is Norris. A 3-wide situation for the race lead. Joseph Klein going to lose 2 spots and go back to 3rd, but Christopher Norris on the hunt.
Here we go then. Norris gets a wiggle through turn 4. He is going to get it sorted at the line. Give it to Milnes based on the eye test right there to lead that lap. Driver number 1 going to have the advantage on the high side right here, but the tires are brand new, so even Norris on the inside can really push it. He is going to get a little loose using that little painted line to the apron right there. He's going to have a slight bit of side draft. No, he's going to tuck back in the line. He doesn't want to fight too hard right now. Going to save those tires.
Trying to save those tires just a little bit. One driver not saving the tires is Jamie Walker back there ripping the boards. Currently back in 7th, and Josh Kanata in 5th. We've seen these drivers try to march their way back up towards the front of the field. Both of them have been contenders out here tonight, just stuck behind the 8 ball right now.
Top 2 have broken away quite a bit from the rest of the field, about 0.6 of a second. You get to Nick Crawford, Josh Kanata, and the driver who has fallen since the restart, Joseph Klein, started out in 1st. He is going to drop down out of the top 5. He'll give up the spot to Fuller and to Walker. It looks like, Tom, the 5 car, I tell you what, he only had an 8-second pit stop. That's no wonder. The 5 car did not take tires. He is putting himself back on even tires with the rest of the field, and putting himself at a disadvantage here at the start of stage 3.
Yeah, what this does, though, is if we get a string of late race cautions, this allows him to come down with everybody else and not have to worry about being one set short out here. So I don't hate it, but that he's going to need something to work here for him if that's going to work. But back up towards the front of the field, Nolan Milnes under pressure from Christopher Norris, as he has been. A little bit of a role reversal here. Now Milnes on the inside, Norris up on the outside.
These two trying to get it figured out, as are the 2 behind them. Kanata gets around Crawford. Here we go then. Just like at the start of the race, Tom, Josh Kanata making a hard push to get some track position early on since this restart. Now Christopher Norris is going to look to the inside, trying to get that race lead away. I think he's got it at the line. How hard does the 1 fight?
On the entry into turn number 1, Nolan Milnes going to lose the spot here. May have an opportunity to stay with the 38 on the backstretch here. And Chris Norris is going to take the race lead down into turn number 3. Josh Kanata quickly on the move here as Joseph Klein continues his fall down, currently in the 9th place running position.
We got some damage
on Cody's car.
Yeah, he's still running a Christmas car. He's got one more day before February, and Cody Gibson, if you show up next week at a Christmas car, I'm going to have to send you some words for that one. But damage on the front end of that Camaro, not sure where that came from. That kind of looks like something you get in maybe like a little bit of a restart checkup.
Yeah, I got to wonder maybe if this happened on the previous restart in stage number 3, because we took a look at Cody's car not that long ago, Arie, and I don't remember seeing that at the end of stage number 2. So Cody Gibson with some damage there. Joseph Klein continuing to march towards the back. He's got Larry Bell directly behind him. Good run tonight for Larry Bell. We don't really talk about Larry too much here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network, but Larry having a good run out here tonight, always keeps that car clean, and is currently marching his way up.
That he is, driver 43. He's just going to stay quiet, keep his head down, and pick up positions where he can as the night goes on. Lock himself down some points. We see the 78 of Rose, who we know had that issue under yellow after the pit stop sequence. He's already back up to P8 right now, so driver who has maybe had the most up and down night up to this point, Ryan Rose, who, by the way, let's not forget, won stage number 1 tonight here in Kansas. He's now looking at the back of Brian Zimmerman for P7. And we'll monitor that 78 as we go. A little further up towards the front, Norris has the lead ahead of Milnes, but now Kanata, Crawford, and even Jamie Walker gonna be a 3-way battle for P3.
Side by side of the line, you got Nick Crawford on the inside, Josh Kanata up on the outside. Jamie trying to come into this battle as well as Josh using a line that's very familiar for him out here tonight at the Kansas Speedway. Taking a look from Jamie Walker's on board here. Josh Kanata is going to take a look down to the inside of turn number 3 and try to slide up in front of his 74. Not going to be able to do it, and we're going to still be side by side off of 4. And here comes the 88.
Here comes the 88, just what he wanted to see. These two locked toe-to-toe in a side draft. That brings Jamie Walker into the picture. Now, these two ahead of him are teammates, potentially hindering each other, racing this hard 4 position with Walker right here in tow. Jamie's going to have the opportunity. He's going to take it to the inside of Josh Kanata down into turn 3. Kanata's just going to take it easy, riding that high side. He's going to let it come to him, get that momentum off of the corner, and trying to defend the position.
We've seen Josh Kanata get into the wall a couple of times out here tonight using the outside. That's what he needs to be careful about here, is while he's defending not to get up into the outside. He is able to protect that position going down to turn number 1, but for how long? That's going to be the question for Josh over the 88 of Jamie Walker. But on the exit of turn number 2, he does a good job, and we continue to race down the backstretch, advantage to the 16.
16's got it in turn 3. Walker's not going anywhere there. He's going to keep it pinned on the inside. Let's not forget, we're working lap 102 at the line out of 160. No more guaranteed cautions to the end. Presumably, at least another 2 pit stops needed to make it to the end of tonight's event. Potentially both coming under green, so these drivers have a long race ahead of them. They've got to keep their tires in mind. As we see Joseph Klein down on pit road, he is on an off sequence right now, but fuel-wise, he should have been able to go further, so maybe just decides to bite the bullet and take the tires now.
It could be that, Arie, but it could also be trying to get a reaction out of the race leaders and get them more so on equal footing as he is. But we'll see. Last time by in stage number 2, when we saw this happen, we saw Sam Garcia come down and then a bunch of drivers immediately after. We'll see if we see the same reaction from Nolan Mills and Nick Crawford. This kind of catches them maybe off guard a little bit. This is a little bit earlier than they had to consider coming.
We'll see. Another thing this does is I think they're all going to be making the same amount of pit stops regardless here. So if anything, the 5 will just be on an offset strategy that will end up slotting in somehow, some way, but there will be periods of the race where he is advantaged from it should a caution come out. And maybe, just maybe, he can catch himself in one of those fortunate moments in time. As it sits, he is off pit road now. He does go a lap down, second car 1 lap down. He should be taking over that free pass spot momentarily. He's only just about 4.5 seconds behind William Bruton for that lucky dog spot should a caution come out.
Battle for the race lead has kind of stabilized at about 1/4 second between Christopher Norris and Nolan Mills up front. Nick Crawford has had his name in the hat all night long. Jamie Walker, after an issue on stage number 1, trying to get onto pit road, has found his way back up into 4th and tries to continue his march up towards the race leaders. Taking a look right now at Ryan Rose and Brian Zimmerman. Here's the battle for 7th.
Battle for P7. We were watching these two a little while ago at this point and kind of expecting Rose to get around Zimmerman at some point, but no, my mistake. Brian Zimmerman's going to hold on ahead of Rose, giving him a hard time, not letting him by. Zimmerman having a good race out here tonight, running P7. Normally a driver known for short track success, but having a great run out here in Kansas. Well, for the back, one of the newcomers, 2 of the newcomers, battling it out right here. The 02 Shannon Wood, the 23 of Joe Hudson. This is a battle for the final spot on the top 10.
2 unsponsored cars on the entry to turn number 3. Joe Hudson up on the outside with the orange numbers on his car, and Shannon Wood currently leading these 2 drivers right here. Is now we're going to see a flip of the switch. Joe Hudson's going to take a look to the inside of Wood on the entry to turn number 1 and try to complete that pass for a top 10 running position, and is going to do so successfully.
There we have it then down the back straightaway. Joe Hudson in the 23 has that spot in the top 10. We move a little further up as Ryan Rose continues to put pressure on Zimmerman. Closest battle on track at the moment is these two running nose to tail. It's not all that close at the moment, but that just goes to show you just how spread out the field is. Caleb West down on pit road at the moment. Brian Troy, Antonio Bannister also down on pit road. Rose maybe closes the gap enough to try and get a run here.
closes the gap a little bit on the exit of turn number 2, but going to have to wait at least one more set of corners, as he's not going to be close enough on the entrance to turn number 3. Brian Zimmerman going to be able to protect 7th place as they run. Nick Crawford is going to pit from 3rd place here.
There we go then. First one of the contenders to come down on pit road elects to do so right here, coming to lap 109. He will have to make another pit stop after this one, as should most of the field. Going to be one of 2 pit stops right here, but Nick Crawford, that is going to be a move, Tom, that I would expect to cause some others to bite.
That is the first driver that we have seen come down pit road that if I'm the race leader, if I'm Chris Norris, if I'm Nolan Mills, if I'm Jamie Walker right now, that's the first one that I consider reacting to. So we'll see. They all stay out for an additional lap here as none of the race leaders pit this time by for service. We'll see what they do next time.
That we will, as we continue to watch this battle right here. But I tell you what, this far into the run, Tom, for Nolan Mills to be this close to Christopher Norris, I think is a pretty promising sign. We've seen Norris become a very good long-run driver in the past couple of weeks. He's said it multiple times. He figured something out in that race at Michigan, and he has kind of been a different driver ever since, especially on the long runs, especially saving those tires. He's been doing it here tonight at Kansas as well, but now Nolan Mills in that one car, he might just have figured something out to keep him in touch with Christopher Norris and make this an interesting battle for the race win.
He may have, right? But let's think about Iowa last week. Chris Norris was able to separate himself, but he never really pulled 2 or 3 or 4 seconds on second place. It was always within about a second, maybe a second and a half of second place. So Christopher Norris, as he has been as fast as he has all season long, we saw it last week where he just kind of maintained that gap and maybe used just enough of his tires in order to keep that clean air on his nose. Maybe we're seeing the same thing here.
Could very well be the case. I know I like to do that when I'm down there in the car. I think you know that as well, in all fairness. But we'll see what that 38 does with that one. A couple other drivers have hit pit road. Alex Fuller most recently came down. We also had a couple other takers. Brian Zimmerman, Joe Hudson have come down on pit road as well out of our top 10 runners. Still waiting to see a couple of our race leaders and otherwise make their way down pit road. We're going to have some pretty big offsets here, Tom, with drivers jumping a huge amount of time with the difference in pit lap, and then these drivers here having a very big swing on their tires being better in the long run.
Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, with Nick Crawford coming down onto pit road a couple of laps ago, I would have expected somebody to answer that call and to also come down, but nobody in the top 10 has done it. As I say that, of course, Larry Bell from 10th place going to come down onto pit road, but nobody really reacted to the 74 coming down onto pit road. So we'll see here, but Christopher Norris under fire, and they're going to have a lap vehicle directly behind him to Christopher Norris on pit road.
Well, there we go. Christopher Norris coming down on pit road, gives up the position at the same time. Gets in hot, does get it slowed down, however, and that gives the lead to Nolan Mills, who's looking very racy at this point in the run. Does Mills now elect to stay out as long as he can to give himself that tire offset over Christopher Norris? I think if you're Mills, you know you're going to lose track position right here. Maybe you go ahead and go for it. Get that extra lap or 2 on tires.
Well, we're about to find out. Nolan Mills, he's going to come down the pit road as he's going to bring that Chevy Camaro down to 45 miles an hour at the cone. Looks like a clean entry for him. No speeding penalties assessed. That's going to pass the race lead over to Jamie Walker. In second place is Kanata.
I tell you what, Tom, I'm willing to bite my words at the end of this race if it plays out differently. But I love what Jamie Walker is doing. Nick Crawford actually just came down, excuse me. Josh Kanata back here as well. I love what these drivers are doing. If there's anything I've learned in recent years racing here on the sim, it's that having that additional couple of laps on your tires versus everyone else just is worth so much. Like you can usually make up the time that the undercut grants other drivers pretty quickly. And I really like what I'm seeing out of the 88. He's going to stay out. I think this is now 3 laps longer than the 38 of Norris. And given we know we have to get another pit stop eventually as well, you would imagine that's only going to compound on itself. So curious to see how it plays out. But by all means, Nolan Mills could make me eat my words on that one. We'll have to see.
Nick Crawford did get around Jamie Walker there. That's going to put him back on the tail end of the lead lap here, and Joseph Klein is the first car, 1 lap down in the free pass position as they run right now. This poses a challenge here and a potential danger for Christopher Norris, who is not in a free pass position. And I would imagine, where is Christopher Norris on track? He's going to be a while away from the race leader.
That he is. A couple of drivers who came down before him and are going to have track position on him. Nick Crawford, Joseph Klein, Alex Fuller. They are ahead of Christopher Norris on track and have made the most recent pit stop in this sequence. Doug Sigmund is down on pit road in the 0-4 this time as well. It's going to be another driver to complete their pit stop. Currently, we're waiting on the top 7. Walker, Kanata, Wood, Moniz, Gibson, Hollifield, Harmon to make their first of 2 final pit stops here in stage number 3. I tell you what, though, Tom, I'm looking at the laps remaining, and these drivers who are staying out at the moment, they've only got to save a little bit more to put themselves in position to one-stop this race, or this stage.
Well, let's take a look here at so Nick Crawford in the 74 on the track map here. That's the difference between him, Nick Crawford, Joseph Klein, who it's actually registering as Josh Kanata. So that's not what I wanted, but Christopher Norris on the entry into turn number 3, so he's probably about 4 seconds back here from the 74 as we see Jamie Walker come down onto pit road this time by, and that's going to be about 5 lap difference between him and the others.
That it is. Kanata comes down. Gibson comes down before Harmon as well. Dakota Moniz to the lead. So here we go then, Tom. We know we can stretch about 35, maybe 36 laps on fuel. That means if you can make it all the way to lap 124, you're in range of being able to make that your final pit stop all the way to the end of the race. Dakota Moniz, Ron Hollifield, they're the only 2 drivers left on track who have not pit yet. How far can they stretch it? Can they put themselves in the one-stop window? Moniz is going to have to come down right now in the 0-5. We've seen the 25 of Hollifield earlier in the race stay out much longer than the rest of the field. What can he do?
Drivers are going to need to stretch this about another 4 laps here, and we saw Ron run long in stage number 2. So we'll see if he's able to stretch this here, as he needs about another 3 laps here before it becomes an option. And even then, Arie, I think the difference between himself and Nick Crawford here may be an issue, but maybe 1 less stop.
Yeah, maybe 1 less stop. I don't think he has enough pace in that machine to make it a race-winning strategy with that 1 less pit stop, but it certainly can play out to gain him tons and tons of track position for the finish of this race, maybe jump up a bunch of spots if it works out. We can hear him shutting that race car off. It's going to be lap 123 this time. It's still a little on the outside of the range, but not impossible at this point for the 25. Here comes Nick Crawford in the 74. This will be for position. He should catch that 25 momentarily. He is pushing all out. He knows he's going to make 1 more pit stop. And, oh, by the way, Tom, 10-second pit stop for Nick Crawford. He took 2 tires.
Okay. Well, we'll see how that plays out, because he's got Chris Norris about 3 seconds back on him. So I think what he's trying to do here is I think he's trying to maintain that 3-second gap, and then if and when Chris Norris gets there, come down pit road and make the 38 react to you again.
I really like this call from the 74. I wouldn't have thought of it. I didn't see it coming, but you have to make 2 pit stops to get to the finish here in stage 3. Normally, drivers might think, oh, hey, that very final run, that might be a little shorter. Maybe that's where I'll take 2 tires and try and get some track position. Nick Crawford says, I'm going to do it on the first one. I would assume he's going to take 4 then on his final pit stop. Maybe he'll make that final pit stop earlier than a lot of the rest. But he's given himself a lot of track position in doing so this early. And to your point, Tom, he can cause some of these other drivers to react when he comes down a little later. He has really kind of put himself in the catbird seat at this point. We know Christopher Norris is kind of the baseline, if you will. The what's the word? There's a word for it. He's the control at the moment. Nolan Milnes, we know that he came down 1 lap later. We know he's been racy with the 38. He has a very, very, very slight tire advantage over the 38. We thought it was going to come down to these two potentially, but Nick Crawford in that 74, he's got a card of his own up his sleeve.
All right, so another story worth watching here in the closing laps of tonight's race, Ari. Ron Holyfield has put himself in a position where he can make it from here to the finish, although it will be as close as it comes. So maybe one less stop for the 25 out here tonight, as he's currently down on pit road. Looks like he's going to be away from his box in just a moment, and going to go one lap down here. So we still know that pretty much everybody has to come down pit road one more time, but the 25 may have something up his sleeve here at the end of the race.
Well, here we go then. Battle for the race lead. Christopher Norris is there on 4 fresh tires versus Norris's 2, which, oh, by the way, are also 6 laps older than Norris's tires. So Nick Crawford, it was only a matter of time before he gives up the race lead right here. But we'll see how his strategy plays out. We are just about to the window where you can make it to the end of the race with a pit stop. The 25 being the first to come down for that final pit stop, as we see the 1 of Milnes head down to the inside. He's going to take over P2 and try to chase down Christopher Norris once again.
Second place now belongs to Nolan Milnes as he completes the pass on Nick Crawford. Taking a look back at Joe Hudson back here. He's racing with Josh Kanata back here. Josh having a good night out here. Joe having a good night in his, what I want to say is his first start in the All-American Racing League, having a top 10 run going. Joseph Klein, kind of the driver that's catching me off guard here, Ari. Joseph Klein is still back in 10th.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to driver 5, who's one of the earliest drivers to come down on pit road. You would have expected him to be much farther up in the running order, and he has fallen. Here comes Nick Crawford now, right. Final stop of the race. He's going to do it right at the beginning of the pit window, effectively.
I think Christopher Norris probably caught the 74 maybe a little bit faster than he was budgeting for. I think he wanted another maybe 5-7 laps before he saw that 38 battle him for position. So we'll see how this plays out, but a couple of drivers coming back down for their final stop. Nick Crawford comes down for what we believe will be his final stop of tonight's scheduled race, as we have just 30 laps to go. This time by Josh Kanata still running back in 7th. He's got Ryan Rose directly to his inside.
Oh, just going to get into the wall. That's going to lose a lot of speed. That wall will suck you in. If you ever hear drivers talking about how the wall grabs you, that's what they mean. You got that wheel cranked to the left, but no matter what you do, you cannot get off of it.
Does that count as the Josh cam, Ari?
I think that does. I think that counts as the Kanata cam. That was an incident, and we were on board the 16. Can't escape it, not even here on Saturday. No other drivers have come down.
Yeah, last time by, Christopher Norris was faster than second place Nolan Milnes by about 1/10 of a second. Alex Fuller was about 3/10 off, but Jamie Walker was actually the fastest of the top 5 cars last time by. He was about half a second faster than the race leaders. The problem is he's got a 5-second difference to make up.
That's right. He does have the newest tires out of these guys. 9-lap newer tires than the 45. He's got 5-lap newer than the 1 and 6-lap newer than the 38. Jamie Walker stayed out extremely late on that sequence, came down, has the freshest tires out here. He is going to be on the attack the entire rest of the race, effectively being the fastest driver on track, and he is just going to be working with having given up track position on each of these final pit stops. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out for the 88, but I would expect in the final 5 or 10 laps, we're going to see that 88 starting to close in on the race leaders. It's just going to be a matter of how close he can get.
Well, he's 4.5 seconds back right now as Joseph Klein comes down onto pit road from about the 10th place running position. He's got Sam Dyer following him on pit road in that 31. Ford Mustang race leader is going to continue to stay out here. Christopher Norris, Nolan Milnes, Jamie Walker going to stay out for an additional lap. Give us 26 laps of racing to go here from Kansas.
Alex Fuller in the 45, going to bring that Scooby-Doo machine down on pit road, was running in P3, and now is on pit road. This is going to be another one that the leaders are going to have to start to think about just a little bit on if it makes them come down on pit road, if they might want to come down earlier than they would be considering otherwise. We see Ryan Rose getting ahead of Brian Zimmerman right here, currently running in P4. This time by, Norris, Milnes, both going to stay out.
A balancing act currently going on between fresh tires, track position, and time lost by staying out on track. We'll see who plays it just right out here tonight. Is Brian Zimmerman going to come down pit road? He was running 6th as they run. Joe Hudson's also going to follow him down onto pit road, and Shannon Wood in that Chevy Camaro as well.
All right, we're starting to get a lot of takers right here. We're hitting the bulk of the window, 25 laps remaining, and we got an issue with the 5.
Big sideways in front of you.
Yellow
Joseph
flag.
gets sideways on the exit of turn number 4, and this is happening through green flag pit stop. Sorry, this is gonna shake us up.
It is certainly gonna shake us up. If you are, oh boy, if you're Nick Crawford, that is not what you wanted to see. You're a number of those drivers who just came down. It is not what you wanted to see. They'll get the free pass. They'll get the wave around even, but they will have to start towards the tail end, given that is the case.
All right, so take a look here at Joseph Klein. Was he trying to get on? Was he trying to get on pit road? What exactly happens here to Joseph? He's running through turns 3 and 4 right here, and he's got a car pitting in front of him, but it wasn't affecting his line. Looks like he's just going to get loose, single car incident on the exit of corner number 4.
He broke loose extremely quickly. I was surprised to see just how quickly he broke loose. Let's take a look from the onboard. Wow. Just kind of came across that seam, and the race car did not like that on those cold tires.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of what I saw from that as well. Is as soon as that left front tire crossed the seam, that car went around. So now we're gonna have to figure out who's on the lead lap, who's gonna be in the lead at the exit of this, and who is trapped a lap down of race contenders out here. I'm sure we're gonna get a bunch of wave arounds out here. Gonna take iRacing a minute or two to cycle around and give us an accurate running order. But on the exit of pit road, Nolan Milne's gonna win the race off of pit road over Christopher Norris. Jamie Walker rolls out in 3rd.
All right, so potentially big implications right here. Nolan Milnes is going to have control of the restart over Christopher Norris. We know how racy those two have been. We're going to see how this plays out. This really benefits that top 6. Milnes, Norris, Walker, Rose, Kanata, Bell. Drivers who had not yet come down on pit road. They're going to be sitting pretty. That gives a number of these drivers positions ahead of some other contenders. Names like Crawford, like Gibson, like Zimmerman, Fuller, and the rest. Hollifield's actually in an interesting position as well with the timing of that. He currently runs in 10th place.
He does. He looks like he's going to have about 12 lap older tires, though, as from everything that I can see, he did not come down on this most recent yellow flag. So that 25, who we thought was in a good spot to make a run to the finish, going to be restarting back in 10th here as we get a bunch of wave rounds here. But Nolan Milnes, Christopher Norris going to recycle back up to the front of the field.
All right, under caution for the 4th time tonight, second for incident. Drivers are just now going to get caught up to the pace car. I wouldn't be surprised if they throw the lights back out on that pace car, given how many wave arounds there are, to make sure these drivers can get caught up to the field. We'll keep tabs on that one. But as it shapes up for the restart, Nolan Milnes in the 1 is going to have control of this restart. The driver who is shown to be the closest competition to the 38 on speed, whether it be the short or the long run. Tom, Nolan Milnes has not yet won his first career race in the All-American Racing League. He is still looking for that first win. Every other driver in the top 5 has at least one win to their credit.
Could be the night for Nolan Milnes, and it's setting up well for him. iRacing pace car going to... The lights
Looks
are
like
back on here, so I believe this is going to be a delayed restart.
It should indeed. Yeah, it's going to be a delayed restart right here. It looks like they didn't delay it fast enough to keep the pace car on track. It will come back out on track as the drivers approach the exit of the pits right here. Another additional lap just to make sure the drivers in the back could all get caught back up to the field for the restart. Drivers who had to take the wave around. And now we're going to see the field check up. Pace car comes back out one more time.
So, Arie, here's something that I want to take a look at is that last time we saw a long line on the inside line, which is what I imagine we'll see here because of all the wave rounds, cars pitting on the one to go and whatnot. We saw an incident on the restart here. If you're running back in 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, you cannot get caught up in an incident here on this restart because that could take you out of the race here tonight. And we've already seen it happen once, so it's got to be in the back of people's minds.
Absolutely. Great point that you're making right there. We know that accordion effect can be bad. All it takes is one driver being a little too antsy on the restart. Got to be very patient when you're in those long single file lines. Lights are officially out this time. We can see just how long the single file line is right here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 race cars in a single file line on the inside on the restart. Here we go. Pace car off.
I was going to let you count all the way up there till it stopped, but into the restart zone, Nolan Milne's going to see it first. Christopher Norris on the outside, also going to be up on the front row as we go green flag racing. Give us 20 laps of racing to go here tonight.
All right, here we are. Nolan Milne's going to have control of the race. Jamie Walker now up into P2, and you know what? I don't think Nolan Milnes is going to hate seeing that green 88 in his rearview mirror. He probably feels like the 38 of Norris is his biggest competitor for the race win at this point. What can Jamie Walker do? He's going to have to defend in the inside. Norris sends it in. Walker has to react up the track.
Big look down onto the inside for the 38, going to get loose on the corner exit of 4. They're still going to come side by side. That was a big move by the 38 onto the inside of Jamie Walker. But there was no contact. These drivers are going to continue on, but from Jamie Walker, maybe you remember that one here in another lap or two.
Certainly the case. That 88 might just start racing that 38 a little harder. For right now, he is going to keep it pinned in the middle. And oh, we have got issues on track. Not sure who for. Bouncing around the 25. Ron Holifield.
Don't see any damage on the 25, at least the front end of the car. We'll see what the back side of that car looks like. But issues for Brian Troy, issues for Ron Holifield.
Coming down the back straightaway right here. That's Joe Hudson in tow in the 23. Down on corner entry. Oh, wow. The 44 was already...
Yeah, something happens in front of the 25. That's why he checks up so much, and somebody gets into the back of the 25, but it started here with the 44 of Bachover.
Yeah, looks like the 44 is just going to kind of come down across the nose of the 39. He was close to being clear. That's one of those nearly too close to call moments right there. Just kind of comes down across the nose, spins himself. Unfortunately, he ends up sliding up the track, and that's what's going to cause the mayhem further behind with these other drivers trying to get themselves out of the way. The 04 is going to get a nasty hit. The 27 of Troy, the 5 of Klein, driver who won stage 2, the 25, of course, of Holifield, all getting involved in this incident. Late in the running, we see right here the 029 trying to squeak through. Heavy, heavy damage for our stage 2 winner, Joseph Klein.
All right, let's take another look here real quick as some of these drivers on pit road, but on board with, where do I want to go? I want to go with Joseph Klein here and see what he sees down the backstretch. He sees a couple of cars on the apron. He's going to get low, try to make his way up to the top, and nowhere to go.
No, wrong place, wrong time. No way to get out of it for the 5 sometimes. That's just how she shakes out. I tell you what, Tom, out of our potential contenders for the race win, Cody Gibson comes down for some new tires. Trevor Harmon in the 029 comes down as well. We know he was involved in that incident, but Cody Gibson electing to take some tires right here. It's not the biggest offset from that top 6 running order. 137 is when they pit. Cody Gibson on 143. Not the biggest of differences, but he's going to give himself a slight difference right here. And given we're within 20 laps to go, I don't hate it. Like, if you wait too long, if you wait till like 10 laps to go, you know everyone else is going to come down. Maybe if you do it now, you can at least give yourself a chance to jump these guys, whether it's another caution in which they pit or just using slightly better tires?
I think the window of opportunity that Cody Gibson just opened for himself, and he's going to need a couple of things to go right for this to happen, is that if we do get another caution, he can come down on pit road and take potentially 2 tires, if he has anything left at this point, actually, where the majority of the front runners would need to take 4.
Absolutely. I think that's a great point. Great call. I wouldn't be surprised if we get any more cautions, especially 10 or fewer laps to go. I wouldn't be surprised to see multiple drivers opting for a potential 2-tire strategy, trying to get some track position. Speaking of track position, a driver who's finally found some track position again is at 78, Ryan Rose, second car on the outside for this restart. He's found his way back towards the front in the nick of time. He is there once again on the restart. Nolan Mills in the 1 car. He is going to have the jump right here. Last time it was a good enough restart for that inside line that Christopher Norris had fallen back to about 3rd before giving it everything he had to get back up there to 2nd. What will we see this time?
Got to give a quick tip of the hat to the driver, the number 43, Larry Bell, currently in 6th place, up 11 spots from his qualifying position, and in an opportunity to do something here in the closing laps of tonight's race. We're going to have to find out what Larry has in the closing laps here. Back into the restart zone we go. Nolan Mills going to bring us down to the start-finish line and get a pretty good jump on 2nd place, Christopher Norris, who's now under fire from Jamie Walker.
All right, here we go. We know who the race leader is, but through turns 1 and 2, we're figuring out 2nd place, and Jamie Walker is clear. Does Norris have the run? Walker defends to the inside. Rose from 4th. He's going to have some things to figure out on entry. The 88 stays clear. Norris is going to have to tuck back into line.
Here comes the 38 on turn number 4. The 38 with a great run through the middle of the corner. He's going to get a nose down to the inside, drop below the white line, bring it down to the apron, and enter into turn number 1 side by side with Jamie Walker. Going to have an opportunity to slide up here in front of him on the exit of 2, and he may do just that.
Jamie Walker goes for a potential crossover. He slots back into line. Where does he look on entry right here? He's going to keep it pinned to the outside, try and give Norris a little bit of a harder time. He's going to tuck right up behind him, all the way on that rear bumper. Pack as much air as you can. Doesn't seem to affect the 38 that time, but down into turn 1, he's still right there.
He is as close as you want to be going down into the corner here, and now he's got some dirty air pushing that Chevy Camaro away from the 38. Christopher Norris was able to extend that little gap there by about half a car length on the exit of turn number 2 as he chases down our race leader Nolan Mills here. Give us 12 laps to go, a dozen to go at the line.
All right, some battles further back in the top 10, but we're keeping our eyes glued on the battle for the lead, on the battle for the win. 12 laps remaining. Nolan Mills is the driver in control, looking for his first career win here in the All-American Racing League. He has got the track position. Christopher Norris, he is looking to make history by winning 3 races in a row for the first time here in the All-American Racing League. What can that 38 do? He's starting to experiment with lines. We have not seen that 38 deviate from the bottom at any point in tonight's race. Runs the middle that time. It's getting down to crunch time, Tom. If you're not in the lead, you got to figure something out.
Driver that came down on the last yellow flag, Cody Gibson, has not really advanced his running order, as he is still back in 10th and in a gaggle back there that he's trying to find his way through, but not able to do so just yet. But that 38 is coming. Last time by, almost identical lap times between the 3 race leaders, all within 100th of each other, as we see 10 laps to go here from
I think this time by, it's going to be advantage 2nd and 3rd place. They're both quicker than Mills by about a 1/10 of a second last time. The eye test even proves it, watching from the rear bumper of the 1 car. He is going to have company, but Norris is also going to have to be careful, because if he gets up alongside that 1, Jamie Walker is also within striking distance. He could go for a 3-wide move.
He absolutely could, and we'll see if that happens here. Let's take a look at these lap times over the last couple of laps. Relative to the race leader, last time by, lap number 150, a 10th better for Christopher Norris, a 10th better for Jamie Walker. That time by 0.03 of a second better for Christopher Norris. A little bit slower for Jamie Walker as he's fighting some dirty air here. That 38's going to have an opportunity, a real opportunity, by the time we see these next 9 laps go by.
He should have an opportunity. He should find a spot to get a nose in right there. He's going to try and take a wide entry right here, carry the momentum down the front straightaway. We're going to see what it is at the line. But right now, he does have the draft benefiting him through the straightaways right here. That time, it was a tenth faster for the race leader, Mills, headed through turns 1 and 2 right here. You can see that gap has opened up just a little bit as well.
About 15 miles of racing to go out here this evening, as Christopher Norris is now just under 0.3 of a second behind the one Chevy Camaro of Nolan Milnes, looking to get his first win on the season in race number 12 of the All-American Racing League. And he may have an opportunity to do so here, but I still think he's going to have to deal with that 38 of Christopher Norris here. But Ryan Rose trying to throw his name in the hat here, as he's got to look down onto the inside of Jamie Walker. This is what the 38 and the 1 want to see.
That it is. Jamie Walker got into the wall hard out of turn 4 last time around. That opens the door for the 78 to close in and take the pressure off. Still watching the battle for the lead at the moment out of turn 4 into the line. It's going to be 6 laps to go for Nolan Milnes and Christopher Norris.
6 laps separates Nolan Milnes from what may be his first checkered flag of the season. He's starting to pull away here from the 38 just a little bit. It's kind of about even here, right? The 38's a little bit faster one lap, the 1's a little bit faster the next lap. So we're seeing the time kind of stabilize here at about 1/4 of a second to 0.3 of a second as these drivers continue to race around here. Ryan Rose still up on the inside of that 88. These are two drivers that have had to overcome a lot of adversity out here tonight. And win, lose, or draw for these two drivers, it's a good night.
It certainly is. Ryan Rose might just be poised. Not quite going to clear right there. Walker using that outside line to his advantage. He's going to keep it toe-and-toe down the back straightaway as we are within 5 laps to go this time around. Make it 4. Gap up front has stabilized for the most part. Christopher Norris trying everything he can, but now it seems to be widening at the line. It's going to be about 0.6 of a second for Nolan Milnes.
0.6 of a second, that's the difference between first and second place this time by Christopher Norris. Going to take the outside line in turns 1 and 2, try to dime in the corner a little bit, get a good run off the corner turn number 2. Not going to be able to decrease that lead before to catch Nolan Milnes, but Alex Fuller and Larry Bell back here running back. This is a battle for the 6th place spot.
6th place spot on the board. Fuller gets into the wall, but he does have the spot ahead of Larry Bell and ahead of that Hornet's Nest a little further back. Battle is on for P2 now, Tom. Jamie Walker caught the back of the 38.
Yeah, the 38 has been kind of going backwards here. It'll be interesting to see, and I don't know that Jamie Walker would have enough time to get to Nolan Milnes here if he does get the opportunity to get around the 38. But we'll see, because that's 88 closed in on the 38 very fast here in the last lap or so.
That he did. Both of them are going to get into the outside wall that time around. 2 laps to go for race leader Nolan Milnes.
Give us popsicle sticks over the speedway. Jamie Walker all over the back of 2nd place runner Christopher Norris as he looks to advance, and he is going to take the momentum out of turn number 2. And they're going to race side by side down the backstretch here. But it's 1.5 miles of racing to go for race leader Nolan Milnes.
All right, continue to watch this battle right now through 3 and 4 between Walker on the outside, Norris on the inside. White flag is out for driver number 1, Nolan Milnes. This time around, this race is official.
1 lap to go here from Kansas Speedway. Nolan Milnes got over a 2nd lead, but the battle is for 2nd. Jamie Walker up on the outside, Christopher Norris on the inside, and Ryan Rose may have an opportunity at a podium depending on what happens down here in turn number 3. But all eyes up front, it is going to be Nolan Milnes bringing us to the checkered flag from Kansas Speedway to get his first win in the All-American Racing League.
First time winner, 9th different winner on the season. Nolan Milnes in the 1, gets it done in Kansas, and finally breaks through the battle for P2. It's going to go to Jamie Walker ahead of Christopher Norris by the slightest of margins. Ryan Rose almost got into that picture as well in 4th, and Josh Kanata rounds out our top 5 with a great run of his own. But that is our 11th race of the season, our 9th different winner. Nolan Milnes, you are officially a race winner in the All-American Racing League.
Nolan Milne's going to come down to the start-finish line and do some victory donuts here as he celebrates his first win in that orange and black Chevy Camaro at Kansas Speedway. This was a difficult race and a lot of up and down strategy here, Ari. But why don't we hear it from the drivers who raced it themselves? Let's see if we can't grab. Let's grab Nolan, who's probably still excited from that win. Nolan, you're doing some donuts out there. Congratulations on your win.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's about damn time.
That's what Ari and I said, and we kind of pointed your name out in the pre-race as one of the drivers who would probably be the next one to get their first win here in Kansas. It comes at a good time with just 4 races to go before the playoffs.
Yeah, I got tired of looking at the point standings and seeing my name behind all the winners, and I'm like, man, I had a couple chances, couple of shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and like Charlotte and Michigan, where things either what got cut short or I did it to myself, and we finally had a race that actually, like, late race cautions and stuff didn't ruin the strategy for me, because I mean, I predicate my driving on trying to be balanced. Like, I like to have long run pace. I was definitely a sprint there at the end, don't get me wrong, and I was ripping. This is my style of track, so I can kind of do both, but typically I like to, try and preserve the tires a little bit, and I'm just glad we got some long runs there. I think worst case scenario I was going to finish P2, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. Shout out to Chris too. We were racing clean and it was good.
Yeah, absolutely. Some close racing here tonight, only a couple incident cautions. We noticed a lot of drivers having some issues getting onto pit road, particularly in stage 1. Kind of bring us through how you were able to manage that. Did you have any issues getting onto pit road, or how was your night with that?
No, not at all. Really, if anything, I felt like I was cutting it a little short, but I'd rather play it safe. I had picked my spot in practice, and I kind of knew, okay, well, this is my spot, which was the turn 4 logo on the wall. I knew right about then or a little after, I could do it. And honestly, that was one of the best pit stops at the end there to get the lead. I think that's what won the race. I don't usually push my luck on pit road, but that time I really locked in and tried to get them on the exit and out of the box, and I got it done.
Well, once you're out front, you walked away. Next week, we got a very different style of racing. The really next 2 weeks, we go to Bristol Motor Speedway next week, and then we're going to be at the LA Coliseum. So 2 short tracks in a row. How you preparing for that, and how you feel about your odds at one of those 2 races?
Well, honestly, Bristol, of all the short tracks, I'm not really a short track guy. It's not how I make my hay on iRacing, but I will say that it's kind of the one I'm the best at. So I like my chances. I wouldn't pick myself necessarily as a favorite. I would rather pick like my teammate Alex Fuller, who's a demon there. So keep an eye out for Alex Fuller. Not to hype him up too much. Don't set the expectation too high. I don't feel bad if he finishes second or something, but he's real good there. I know there's guys better than me at Bristol, but I like my chances.
All right, well, you get your first win out here tonight in the All-American Racing League, Nolan. We're going to open up the floor for you. Anybody you want to say hello to back home watching you take home the checkered flag? The floor is all yours.
I don't think I have anyone watching, but I just want to shout out my teammates. Sorry to Joseph, who I hit coming off of 4. I was deafened because I was thinking of fuel strategy and different things in my own head, and I didn't hear him say he was staying high, and I didn't expect it, so I clobbered him. I'd like to apologize to Joseph Klein, who deserved a much better finish than I afforded him based on that, but I think we're all good.
All right, Nolan, congratulations once again. Going to let you go debrief and celebrate that win a little bit more here tonight from Kansas. Congratulations once again, as I think Ari's got our second place finisher. That's going to be Jamie Walker.
That I do. I've caught up with runner-up finisher in tonight's event, Jamie Walker in the 88, and it was a pretty intense battle down to the line right there. You started to put the pressure on the 38 of Norris as his tire started to fall off from that late race push. Walk us through your race. You kind of struggled with a little bit of adversity early on, but this was it really was a race of long runs and differing strategies.
Yeah, that's basically all I was doing. I was just, saving my car for the end. I heard Cody had a little bit of a problem because of my mistake, and I apologize for that. I started in third, didn't realize it, but I want to apologize to Cody, my teammate, stuff for that happening. But no, like I said, just saving my stuff for the long run.
Absolutely. I tell you what, you're one of the best drivers out here on Saturday nights at doing that, and it paid off in the end right there. In terms of how this race was shaping up before, that last sequence of yellows when we had been going green for a long time. Did you need that long green flag sequence to play out to maybe give you the best shot at the race win, or was it just something else you needed tonight?
It would have been something to see coming, that long run towards the end there. It would have been nice to have because I was good to go the rest of the way. I had the fuel and tires to go, so it would have been nice to see. But I don't know. We'll see.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, another solid performance out here in Kansas, runner-up tonight as we start to turn our attention to next week's race in Bristol. We're going to open up the floor to you, Jamie, to give any shout-outs, hays, and highs to anyone you got watching.
Of course, got to thank you guys in the booth for taking the time out of your day just to watch us go around and call the race. I can't thank you guys enough. Everybody involved with this league, they're doing an outstanding job. Great drivers. Of course, everybody on the Mountain Dew crew. They did a hell of a job this week.
Absolutely. There we have it. Congrats again on the runner-up finish, Jamie. And with that, I believe Tom is caught up with our third place finisher.
That I have. I feel like, Chris, I feel like we talk every week. Usually it's in victory lane. Tonight it's good enough for a third place finish out here tonight. What more did you need there at the end?
Yeah, honestly, most people come out here and say that, hey, that green flag run ruined my race. I would have won it without that, but that's not what I'm going to say. What I'm going to say is I lost the race myself. I pit in first place, and I came out second. So I lost that race on the pit road, unfortunately. So I think I still would have had to put up one heck of a fight to Nolan and Jamie there if it wasn't for the fact that I came out second and I came out in the lead. I still would have been a huge fight, but yeah, I definitely think I lost the race on pit road regardless. Definitely would have liked it to stay green. I think me and Nolan would have had a great race there because it was just pretty much us two within a second or so. So I was looking forward to that. But hey, I'll take a P3. What's for me?
Yeah, third place, hard to hang your head over. But Chris, we noticed a lot of drivers in the beginning of the race, at the beginning of the stages, really using that outside line to march their way forward and to try to advance their position. Just how much did using that outside line really negate the tires at the end of the run there?
I think towards the end, it definitely burned it up. I come from experience of the outside lane being the primary lane. But to be fair, that was actually 2 years ago, so it's not really the same anymore. But yeah, I kind of figured the outside lane in the middle groove wasn't be usable throughout the run, but in the end, it was pretty much just the bottom lane would be better. So I think the top, I mean, definitely did burn up the tires a little bit more than the bottom did. But it was just kind of like the previous week. So just trying to get some good exits and do your best. That's what I think it was Jamie in front of me and Nolan as well as Ryan the first couple stages, just trying to focus on that and manage dirty air. I know the second stage, I was really enjoying that. I had a little battle with Nick. I was just like constantly, I was right in front of him in 3 and 4. You guys can hear, we're just yelling at each other jokingly, having a lot of fun with him, but that wasn't too bad. But hey, P3 is good. Bristol next week is going to be a fun show, so we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, you led a bunch of laps out here tonight. You didn't lead the lap that you wanted to lead, but Chris, 3 wins already in the season. A couple of recent wins as you look to continue your wins here in the coming weeks. Christopher, we're going to open up the floor for anybody you want us to say hello to back home watching you get another podium here.
I gotcha. You guys, of course, get on Parade Show. The admins for putting this on. My teammates, Nick Crawford tonight, and we had a not so good finish as a tire wear there. Kanata, I'm pretty sure he finished close behind. Yep, P5. I'm shooting Nick finished 7th. Unfortunately, finished Samuel Garcia. Not sure where he headed out to, but hopefully everything's all good with him. Victor Moniz, and also as well as Sam Dyer. Shout out to Nolan. I think it's his first one in the season, so heck yeah, congrats to him. Finally got it done. And also cnosphoto.com. If you need a photographer for events, sports, motorsports, anywhere, just like hit me up. I'll travel. I don't care. I'm going 2 hours away next Saturday, so I'll do the distance. And also my family. They're not watching tonight, but I still haven't sent them the link, so my bad. But yeah, that's it.
All right. You going to be here next Saturday, or is it during the day?
During the day, so I'm hoping to get home in time. So we'll see. I love Bristol, so definitely want to get home.
All right. Well, the field's on notice if that 38 rolls down into Tennessee next week. Congratulations, Christopher, on another good run out here tonight.
Gotcha. Thank you.
All right, Arie, and that's 160 laps down at Kansas Speedway. race winner Nolan Milnes getting his first win in the All-American Racing League. Anytime you see a first-time winner, regardless whether it's on a Saturday night, a Monday night, any night of the week, it's a good feeling.
It certainly is, and I'm really happy for the one crew down there, Nolan Milnes. I can already see a number of drivers who have started celebrating and offering their congrats and support for Nolan Milnes over in the Discord. This is going to be a popular win. That's a driver who shows speed week in and week out, and he's had a lot of bad luck this season. So to see Nolan come out here and get it done, finally get that chip off the shoulder, that's a good sign, especially as we ramp up towards the playoffs, getting some of these drivers with their momentum headed in the right direction. I tell you what, we look at Bristol in 1 week's time, but before we can fully set our eyes on Bristol, let's finally set the stage for the results here in Kansas. Winning tonight's race, of course, is Nolan Milnes in the 1 car ahead of Jamie Walker in P2. Christopher Norris comes home in 3rd, Ryan Rose in 4th, and Joshua Kanata rounds out the top 5. Alex Fuller finishes P6 in that Scooby-Doo machine ahead of Nick Crawford in P7. What could have been? Newcomer Joe Hudson finishes 8th tonight ahead of Cody Gibson in 9th, and Larry Bell comes home with a top 10.
11th place belongs to Brian Zimmerman out here tonight. Shannon Wood also making the first start tonight, finishes 12th out here tonight. Trevor Harmon, after an early race issue, finishes 13th. Dakota Moniz is good enough for 14th out here tonight, and Ron Holyfield may have had the winning strategy, but we will never know. Caleb West is the first car 1 lap down. Rob Higgs in 17th with Joseph Klein, Zachary Wake, and William Bruton rounding out the top 20.
In 21st, it's going to be Shane Johnson ahead of Aaron Bach over in 22nd. Matthew Pavlik in the 30 finishes 23rd. Brian Wortman in 24th. Antonio Bannister finishes 25th tonight ahead of Doug Sigmund in 26th. Ryan Troy comes home 27th for car 27 ahead of Sam Dyer in 28th. Jackson West in 29th, and rounding out our field of 31, Samuel Garcia and Tanner Marr.
All right, Arie, next week, very different style of racing, and we're going to find out who wins the sword at Bristol Motor Speedway. But before we do that, we're going to make our way out of Kansas Speedway. As always, Arie, it's an absolute pleasure to do this with you. I enjoy every time we're able to do this. If you enjoyed tonight's broadcast, make sure that you like the stream, get notified every time we go live, click the subscribe button. It helps us a lot here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network, and we will see you next week from the Last Great Coliseum.